me, just text back. Tell me, baby, just relax. All right. Hey, welcome to another episode of the Black Guy Who Tips podcast. I'm your host, Rod, and I'm joined as always by my co-host,
Karen.
And we're live on a Saturday, ready to do some feedback. Find us everywhere you find podcasts. The official weapon of the show is
the taser,
and the unofficial sport is.
Oh, my bad. A folding chair.
And the unofficial sport is.
Bullet ball. I could see. I corrected myself.
Yeah, I didn't say it. And bullet ball and string. I was fooled. I was ready to keep going. All right, you know what it is. Feedback show. That means all the stuff y'all had to say. We're gonna talk about that stuff. You know, we talked a lot this week, and you guys left comments and you voted in the polls. I've remembered to doing it for the gram. Emails, voice. Y'all left a lot of voicemails. So who knows how long this episode is gonna be. You know, y'all
what the hell is we talking about?
Y'all like to talk. Y'all like to leave multiple voicemails. No one just wraps it up in 2 minutes. You know what it is.
Of course not.
So we might be here for a while. Strap in. Okay, go ahead and
get your breakfast if you're watching live. Your lunch.
Get your cleaning utensils out. Maybe it's time to do the kitchen and the bathroom. I don't know. But of course, you know, the first people we always like to shout out are the people that give us money for nothing. They just like what we do, and all they get for it is a shout out. You can find this on the blackguywhotips.com. On the right hand side, it says donate to the show, and you could be like, let me support the show in a one-time donation, a recurring donation for any amount. We don't care. Any denomination, you get the shout out.
Yes.
May I have your attention? You are now listening to Charlotte's Own Rod and Karen. We welcome the good folks who tied to the Black Guy Who Tips.
Oh yes, new salutations, new donations. April G, Corey the Tickler, Tabitha M, Alexis H, Tanya S, Wonga from Down Under. Good day, mate. Marlon B, yes, Marlon B, Dostra J, Tiffany B, Shirley Wong Esquire. Please say the Esquire, okay? I seen her catching a flight. She out here living her best life.
A best life, right?
J Full, Palmetto Stone Magic, Mr. Span of the Mr. Span podcast, Autumn W, Jasmine J, David C, David from Brooklyn, I believe, and James C. That's everybody. Thank you, everybody, for taking the time out to put a little something in our pockets. We appreciate you. All right, let's talk about 5-star reviews. Once again, I think I read it, but I'm not sure, so I'm reading this one again just in case. 5 stars because Rod and Karen are hot. It's from Rose Rebel, who says, I got 5 on it. I found the Blackout Tips. I search. Oh, no. I did read this one. I remember now. Sorry. All right, going to the next one. My absolute favorite podcast by L Boogie 2064. That's what the ballot gonna be. 2064, Lauren Hill running for president.
Come on, 2064.
I was introduced to Rod by his appearances on the Karen Hunter show on Sirius XM, and I've been hooked ever since.
Come on, Karen Hunter.
Yes, Karen. I love kicking it over there. I'll be on there on Fridays, Foolishness Fridays. If you have Sirius XM, it's on the Urban View channel. I believe they have an app you can listen through that. I don't think you have to pay. I think there's like free trials and stuff. But she also sometimes puts the clips up on YouTube. My mom will watch them. My friends will watch them. Sometimes people, hit me up on social media or text me and be like, I heard you on Karen Hunter show. So it's a pretty big deal. It's very fun. And it's been awesome hanging out over there with her. So, yeah. I love Rod and Karen's even-handed opinions on each of the topics they discuss. Thank you, Elba. You try to keep it even-handed.
Yes. Yay.
And I try to be aware when I'm not being even-handed so that y'all don't think I'm lost my fucking mind when I'm like, nah, I'm just choosing to be unreasonable today.
Yes, I am. Oh, I'm in my feelings. I'm projecting. I let it be known, because a lot of times when you start, kind of getting in those areas, sometimes logic is out the window. So I was like, hey, just letting you know.
Yeah, I don't think we're doing that much different than any other podcast that gives their opinions, except I think we do a pretty good job of being like, these are just our feelings and we don't fucking know, and I hope,
don't have all the answers.
Yeah, and I hope that's enough for people, A 5-star review is for a 5-star pod. This is from Dizzy Lizzy Gal, who says, well, now that I'm finally a part of the Tim Apple gang, I can leave a review. Shout out to Tim Apple.
Oh, shit now.
Appreciate him.
Tim Apple gang.
Come to this pod for Rod and Karen's insightful takes on politics and culture, also their jokes on the same. Rod and Karen often have point of views that I hadn't even considered, and in this way, I feel they've made me a more thoughtful and critical thinker. Thank you. Plus, their segment songs are top-notch, best in the game. I've been a listener for several years now and will keep listening for as long as they do the show. With love from Riverside, California, Dizzy Lizzy Gal. P.S. Sign up for their premium feed. It's absolutely worth it. Thank you.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, I like to think, listen, our premium stuff can stand up to anybody's shit. This not bragging, really. It's just facts.
Yep, and we have more premium shows than people have regular ass shows.
Yeah, we work hard, we're consistent, and the quality is top notch. And it's not like just any show that does what we do. Quick review update. This is from Ola Chama, who says, been listening to Rod and Karen for at least 10 years now, and they keep getting better and better. Love this podcast so much. Here's to many more years of success. Thank you.
Oh, thank
you. You know, that's what we do. We keep getting better and better, and that's the goal. You know, every day you get a little bit better. And we appreciate everybody who took the time out to, to hit us up and leave us those 5-star reviews. It matters way more than y'all think, and it makes our day, it makes our week. And it shows that y'all appreciate us. And if you're listening, we have thousands of listeners. So I know if you're listening and you haven't left a review and you're able to get on the Apple Podcast, which you can also do through the internet. You don't have to have the phone to do it.
No, you don't. All you got to do is make an iTunes account.
Yeah, give us that 5-star review because we love them. Yummy, yummy, yummy. We eat them up. All right, let's go into the comments on the episodes. That was called Sunburst. I like that.
I like that a lot.
All right. So the first one was our feedback show. It was called 2854 Immediately No. 12 comments. Ooh, that's a lot of comments. Appia says, now I'm afraid of autocorrect. This time it came up tomatillos. This was confusing but cute. But now I know that Europe's fate might be linked to the quality of my comments. I feel the responsibility to make it right. The fact that on my devices I have keyboards in 3 languages, German, English, and Polish, and switch between them is also a factor. I hope I built so much goodwill in the last years that a strange word will not immediately destroy it all, but who knows? After all, I'm a white ladybug. Autocorrect, stop it. I told you. But hey, it's a responsibility I'm willing to take on to save Europe. Well, the thing I would say, Appia, is that I don't think our listeners are the type of people to destroy our country. That's just my guess.
I don't think they had a power.
Think we had that kind of pull. And if we did, we probably would already started on this country first. So
where you be like this, y'all will be lower on the list.
Yeah,
trust.
Y'all, we got a ways to go before we make it to Germany. Appia also says 33% of Spotify users are a lot. I guess they have money to burn. I forget what the poll was, but
I guess so.
Suave P says, I think the lyric in the white people news jingle that's throwing everyone off is, we might be problematic, a little bit glib. The sun's very hard on our fragile pink skin. And Ernest says, a little bit glib is the hanging in the child line of the WPN white people news jingle. Hanging in a child line. Yeah, that's true.
Hilarious.
That is true. That's a great call, Ernest. Ernest also says, this is a response to your response to my response to episode 2851 during Black History Month. You're too smart for me, Rod. I was trying to get a little nerd off out of you on the main feed. I'm a premium subscriber, but I usually listen to the main show on Spotify, so I'm typically behind on the stuff behind the paywall. My bad. I need to get my life together. I appreciate how this show challenges me to be my best. Thank you for the call in, and shout out to the chat room. I now see my emojis did not save with my comment, making some of the text in my previous comments seem disjointed. I apologize for any confusion this may cause. I appreciate your understanding at this time.
No problem. I guess emojis don't roll over on certain formats.
Maybe it's a phone. I don't know. I don't know. Sometimes it do, sometimes it don't.
Right, because I'm about to say sometimes we see them, sometimes we don't.
Yeah. Anyway, no hard feelings. Everything's cool. You didn't say anything even without the emojis, you didn't say anything that I was like, oh, what the fuck? Swabby P says the Chadwick Boseman sketch is still hilarious, but check it, Rod. You gotta do an update to the sketch because there's a new light-skinned Chadwick out here taking all the legendary light bright Negro roles. Kingsley Ben-Adir. He played our good brother Malcolm in One Night in Miami. He's playing Bob Marley in One Love. I would not be surprised he plays Obama next if he hasn't done so already, because if you look at him close enough, he low-key got them Obama ears. Hell, he probably would play Will Smith smacking Chris Rock one day. Mark my words, watch out for this brother Swabby.
Yeah, we gotta watch out for him. He gotta get his resume up though. You gotta get his resume up.
Yeah, see, the key to this is that you can't what made the Chadwick Boseman joint so funny is that Chadwick trying to sound like Chadwick as Black Panther in every impression. And that he was doing so much, but I don't know that I have a Kingsley Ben-Adir like impression,
right?
So I need to maybe watch more of his work or whatever. Chad with his Black Panther just sounded funny to me, but you know, I appreciate the update though. We're gonna keep him on the list.
Yeah, we got an eye out for him.
Is he from here? Is he FBA? All right, let me stop before I start some shit. Shoe Booty says, see, I knew in my heart of hearts you were talking about the rap in Teen Witch. That's right. I was talking about the rap in Teen Witch. I think we got it together between us in the chat room by the end, but she linked it, the YouTube.
Oh shit.
Over this probably won't be able to monetize this video, but whatever.
No.
I'm king, and they know it. When I snap my fingers, everybody say short. I'm hot, and you're not.
Look at these white people, man. This is amazing.
I'm hot and you're not, boy.
I'm hot and you're not.
This is definitely some 80s rapping going on here.
Oh, this is beautiful.
If you want to hang with me, I'll give it one shot. Top that.
Okay. No, I'm not in the mood.
This is also a pure 80s type situation. Some person wrote in the script, there were 3 white guys hanging out in the middle of their neighborhood.
They had to physically write that.
With a boombox, and one of them was rapping to the beat in the boombox in the street. No one's around to be impressed. It's not like they're doing it in a hood or a hip hop environment.
Right.
Like 2 white girls come down.
They're in the fucking suburbs.
Yeah, 2 white girls come down with bikes with baskets on it and tennis rackets, and these motherfuckers are freestyling.
Come on, they're in the cul-de-sac. They're gonna roll down there and end up in a circle somewhere.
Oh my god.
You can dream until you blue, but you will never top that.
Let's go back the other way.
Not Negro the first around. And keep in mind, these are some street urchins in this environment, because these women said, let me turn around. Okay.
Oh shit, top that.
They said, let me turn around. Okay, there are some ne'er-do-wells down the street. And
no, I'm from a trust fund. What is this?
If we don't want to deal with these rapscallions, we better get back to the tennis court.
We better get away from these thugs.
Let's go up and talk to him. Are you kidding? I'm so embarrassed. Look how funky he is.
This is the key. This is funk.
They all are beating all stiff. This is hilarious. One of them got suspenders.
He got Nikes on. I mean, this is
oh shit now.
Okay, this is a hunk right here. Wow.
I will never be hip.
I'm hot, and you're not. But if you want to hang with me, I'll give it one shot. Top that. Top that.
Here comes the witchcraft.
You can, but you'll never
top that.
Top that.
Now she's about to put a spell on her friend to make her be able to rap.
Supersonic, idiotic, disconnected, not respected. Who would ever really want to go and top that? Such a waste of pretty face, but hanging in your nose face. I wish that you would take a look and really stop that. Top that. Well, stop that. I don't really give a about trying to top that.
A lot of people don't know that this is the inspiration for battle rap. Whenever y'all watch the battle rap leagues and stuff on YouTube, that started here. Until then, black people weren't doing this. This is the first ever battle rap caught on TV.
That. Stop that. I wish you finally take a real look and really stop that.
So why is she dissing him? You know, like she's very aggressive. She didn't try to do a duet. You said
come on through shoulder blades.
You a waste of a pretty face. Now let me hit you with this bass.
What's this?
Stop that.
But give.
Stop that. I don't really give a about trying to stop that.
Top that.
Big deal.
Stop that.
Unreal.
You can try to, you blue.
I will make a fool of you.
Top that.
I also appreciate there's no cursing in any of these raps.
It isn't. This is clean as shit.
She's like, I don't really give a
Because this is for teens.
Right. Too many motherfuckers ucking with my ish.
Yes, that's my jam. Too many motherfuckers.
Oh man, we are losing recipes.
Yes, we are.
Okay.
That's hilarious. That shit, I've never seen that before. Probably because I don't think I've ever seen Teen Witch.
What? I used to watch this shit religiously.
If I did, it's
This is
been
my
years
scene.
ago.
They came around that corner. I said, "Here we go. It's on.
It's on. I need to go back and watch some of this old shit I didn't see as a kid.
I was huge into this. I was like, this shit used to come on HBO like every afternoon. I'd be right up next to the TV, like supersonic idiotic.
Come on, because it came out of nowhere too. That's was even the best part about it. And like you say, somebody had to rap 3 white dudes or 3 dudes dancing. They had to like literally write this whole thing, her walking up and all that stuff. Oh,
Yeah.
that's hilarious.
This man was rapping like the same voice you hear in kids' toy commercials.
Come on, what is that? They was doing they did the kids bops before it was a kid bop. That's what they did.
All right. Brooklyn Shoebase says, thank you for the Black History movie trailer. Still hilarious. Damn that nigga and everything. LOL. Laugh just as hard as the first time. I've been having a rough couple of weeks and I needed that smile/laugh. Sorry your ad deal with Spotify is over because your ads were comedy gold, especially disclaimer about not needing more podcasts about dates at the Cheesecake Factory and Marvel fatigue. Well, thank you. I'm glad we could bring a smile to your face, especially if you're going through a rough couple of weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we here for. Michael says, I love that Chadwick Boseman skit. I can't believe you made that all the way back in 2016. Time flies when you're listening to a great podcast. I guess. Love you guys. Thank you, Michael.
Oh, yeah. It's been a hot minute. I didn't realize it's been that long either.
Mm-hmm. JL Coven, or Jean-Louis Coven, as they say in France and Haiti. The song you played on this episode before the email is the single best song on the whole the Blackout Tips library, with all due respect to all the other music. In fact, it is so good. I have imagined a scenario for when it should play. Please indulge the man who catches the most strays per year with this quick setup. That's fair. You do. You do catch the most strays. It is the end of season 2 of my show about a comedian who is seeking John Wick-esque vengeance on the people who killed his comedy special and career. Instead of John Wick, it's John Louis.
Yeah, John Louis.
I need a mic. Season 1.
They killed my career. I will kill them.
They gonna run over his dog again.
Yes.
Cookie. And then he gonna take revenge.
No, they gonna kill his career, and JL gonna go out there and he gonna be digging, and when he pull up, it's gonna be like a mic.
Yeah.
So he's picking up his career again.
He's gonna be retired. He's gonna be retired in Cleveland. And then
yes!
They gonna kill Cookie, and then he gonna go to his garage and get his microphone out. And they'll be like, this they're gonna be like, Louis C.K. gonna have to watch out. He's back. What?
Yes, scaring everybody.
JL Covan is back.
Yes.
What did you do? What did you do?
In jail, it's gonna be so over the top. It's gonna be some stuff where your microphone is like a special microphone. So when you start like telling your jokes, all of a sudden, when people get cut, we're gonna see like the cuts on their body from you just slicing them up. They're gonna be like, oh man, that was a deep cut. Oh, I can't wait. People gonna be dropping dead on stage and they ain't gonna know what happened. Oh, I'm here for it, jail.
Show up without being on the lineup for the open mic.
And then
they'll be like, what? People keep asking me if I'm back. Yeah, I'm thinking I'm half black. Season 1 is the buildup of optimism, with the finale being the soul-crushing disappointment of having the whole special destroyed. But it is not until late season 2, after hunting down all the low-level producers, that the main character learns where the man who masterminded his whole downfall of the comedian is located: Miami, or some warm tropical Latin locale. At the final scene of season 2 builds, we hear the aforementioned music start playing to see a plane landing, but it can't be the main character because he's afraid of flying. Yeah. Why wouldn't we be watching a train? But then we see the large frame of the comedian walking from the plane into the warm evening of Miami to get his revenge. Yeah, we got to go with an over-the-shoulder shot on that, getting off that, walking with no room on the plane. There's no headroom.
He all crushed.
Right.
His knees in somebody's seat.
His overhead, in the overhead compartment is just a mic. It's not
Yeah,
it's not an
nothing
actual
else.
bag. It's just a microphone.
It's just a mic. I'm like, sir, why is your mic so heavy?
And then the screen,
Because it has all my pain on it.
and then, to get his revenge, and then the screen goes to credits as soon as the beat drops, and then Max cancels the show before we can see what happens. Yeah, that's kind of what they do. So we'll get to watch the first season on Netflix in perpetuity, though, because they will sell it.
I would watch the hell out of it.
You know what would happen? They would shelve the whole season as a tax write-off, because that's JL's luck.
Yes!
And he's
It would
like,
never be released.
he be on this podcast for months like, this is the best, most rewarding work I've ever done.
I put my heart and soul
People-
into it. People
are
gonna
finally-
love it.
People are finally listening to me.
They're gonna recognize me.
Everyone on the stage, everyone on the crew understands my vision.
Yeah.
Everybody they only punch up jokes. No one has punched down the joke the entire 4 months of shooting this
Gonna be
series.
his best experience ever, and ain't nobody gonna see it.
I can't wait for y'all to see this, and then the tax write-off. He says, after all this time, Chadwick Boseman skit is still so funny. I really miss him as an actor because I know he would have gotten his Oscar by now. What a talented brother. Very. I've been meaning to mention this for a while now, but I just wanted to say I really love the long version of the Fucking with Black People intro because it's such a bop. And we always get the added bonus of Karen singing along. I always get tickled when she starts, "Can you leave me alone? Just leave me alone." That's the best part. The song always softens the bullshit that follows. Yeah.
That's my jam.
Felt 5 is just so talented.
Ain't he
And,
talented?
the songs he has sent us are just they're earworms. And I implore you, if you have Spotify, to follow him on Spotify.
Yes.
He has albums on there, everything, and it's not just us. And some of the songs from the show are on there, like the anthem for Black capitalism is on there. That brother is very talented, and like I'll listen to his songs just to listen to him sometimes. It doesn't have nothing to do with the show. But even when we do, every time we've ever done an episode of Lip Smacking Good, the song gets stuck in my head for days. Like,
Don't
it's
it
just that good.
though?
So yeah, he's amazing.
Don't it though? And I was like, child, if I ever get a cooking show, that's gonna be the theme song, and I'm gonna fight them on your behalf, baby. Like, nope, this is my jam, and I don't want no other bop.
And then comments on YouTube. Roderick, how did you and Karen Hunter meet? This is from CHM818. Honestly, man, she followed me on Twitter, and I think I was following her back, but and I would see like people, talk with her. I would see her like, tweet stuff, but if I'm being really honest, I didn't know how big a deal she was. I knew she had a Sirius XM show, but and I knew some of the mutuals that had gone on there, and I figured it was a pretty serious show because like it would be Professor Corey and Reese Cole. It would be people that I was like, oh, those motherfuckers. I mean, they funny or they cool, but like they are serious. They have serious acumen. That's not right. They're not just talking shit and being funny like me. And so I was just like, oh man, she must have like a cool lane over there. And like every once in a while, she'd say a joke on Twitter and somebody would get mad about it. You know that happens to everybody that makes jokes on Twitter. Oh my God, these niggas, y'all. Oh my God. But and then it'd be like, I hate her or whatever. And I was like, I for the most part I don't really make judgments off of that shit because I just feel like Twitter's a bad judgment a bad place to judge people because you really don't know. So that was all the knowledge I had of her. And then like, I was making my little jokes on Twitter and stuff, and I see maybe she would retweet or reply every once in a while. And one time she DM'd me and was like, hey, would you like to come on my show? And I was like, sure. I know it's a live Sirius XM show. I knew enough. I knew that. Like I knew enough. I just had I don't have Sirius XM, so I didn't have a way to really hear it, but I knew that that's what she did over there. And so I hopped on. I want to say the first day I was there, like Lamont King was there, Dante Nero was there. I didn't know Lamont at the time, although I had heard about Lamont. I know he works a lot in the DC area, and I know some people up there. And Dante Nero I've known from Keith and the Girl for years. And so I hopped on there, and she said before we got started, she's like, all right, now just you gotta be funny, okay? Because this is live. You gotta taking a chance, because she didn't really, I don't think she really knew like the podcast really, and she didn't know much about how we did the podcast, and necessarily not that much about me. And I just asked her like, hey, so what are the rules on your show? She's like, you could do anything, no rules. I said, nah, it's always some rules, because I have rules on my podcast, I'm sure, even if I don't think about it, And so I was like, you sure? And she was like, well, we don't say the N-word on here. I said, cool, I can swing that, I say it all the time, but I've worked in corporate America. I'm a professional. I can turn it on and off. I can turn all this shit on and off, honestly.
Yes, sir.
But so she's just like, cool. And I did it, and she really liked the first episode and having me on for however long I was on with her. And she complimented me after and was like, this went really good, and we're gonna have you back. And I said, cool, absolutely, just let me know when. And honestly, like almost every Friday now, I try to block out that time as best I can if I have nothing like pressing that I need to do, just to be available. And almost every week now I get an email like, hey, you want to hop on from like, and if they have guests and stuff, sometimes that's like 3 to 4, 3 to 5, but most of the time they're like, however long you can stay, you're welcome to stay. And she's been nothing but gracious and professional and funny.
Oh, she's hilarious.
And she's so smart and informed. She knows so much shit. Like and at the same time, she still allows space to be silly, and she's still like inquisitive and all that stuff. And yeah, man, I adore her. I always have a good time, and I'm thankful because there's a lot of people that already knew me who are like, I can't believe you got on Karen Hunter. I listen to her every day. And there's a lot of people that are like, I never heard you before in my life. She put me on to you, and all that stuff is dope. I've had people from high school hit me up to be like, was you on Karen Hunter? My mom, people like, I saw you on YouTube. You was on Karen Hunter show. So yeah, man, that's how we met, was literally just straight up through social media. And I would just say, and this is one of the reasons I think you should be mindful of social media, how you're using it, what you're using it for.
Yes, sir.
Because if you don't have a goal or a purpose, or you just out there saying shit, maybe you luck into something like that. But I think a lot of times people just picking up on your vibes. And if my vibe would have been, I say a bunch of ignorant, offensive shit, or I'm trying to be edgy, or I'm just aggro all the time and mad at people don't want to be around that shit. You know what I mean? So like, keep it real, but be mindful that anyone could be watching at any time. And I've gotten a lot of opportunities through social media. Even writing for Game Theory, while Bomani is the homie, and I'm sure, what, like, they were looking for new voices, and he said it was someone else that suggested me. Like, they were like, what about this Rodimus Prime guy on Twitter? And Bo's like, yeah, that's the homie. Like, we can ask him to submit, So a lot of stuff you just have to be mindful of. I'm still funny and I still do what I want and all that shit, but I just try to be mindful of, how you treat people and stuff. AJ says, at 5110, what song is that? And do you ever go meow, 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 meow to the beat? Maybe it's just me, but I hear a cat meow and now that the song comes on. So I wonder if this is the song JL was talking about. I'm going to skip forward.
It's money.
I don't know if that's the same one, but I don't remember the name of that one. I'll try to do a better job of saying the name when I play them. but because I can't remember them all. We have so many beats at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And I try to do justice by DJ Jaffa, Infrared Crypto, Psycho Music, my brother, bro cooked that up, and not just rely on like one or two of their beats. I try to switch it up so y'all get to hear a selection of everybody's shit. But
Right.
Yeah. So I don't remember. I'm sorry. Anyway, the poll. Had you heard the Black History Month trailer before? Yes or no? 30. Wow, only 36% say yes, meaning that was new to 64% of y'all.
I can see that.
Yeah, which
we've been doing it for so long.
Right.
Yeah.
Which means like that's with 4 years ago, y'all, may or may not have been listening to the show like that. Or shit, 2016, 8 years ago, right? Wow.
That's a long right.
26% on Spotify, meaning even less people had heard it before. Basically 75% of the people on Spotify, that's first time hearing it. The Q&A, affirmational, confirmational, aspirational, and inspirational. Terry T says, that's how I feel when listening to the show. Okay.
Oh.
Roland says, you don't need it to be easy. You just need it to be possible. I hear you, buddy. Leash says, as an introvert, I've loved a man and still cheated on him. Also, a lot of men out here use women they're sleeping with as an STD test. If she clean, then I'm clean. That is true. They do that bullshit.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it was a dude I was considering.
Go get a regular test. Sorry.
It was a dude I was considering putting on the coon list. I still might. I mean, I got 12 days to go, guys. I got like 13 days to fill. And I'm trying not to do too many retreads, but I mean, come on. Some of these motherfuckers is they retreading. Anyway, this one dude named King Face, who's a rapper, well, rest in peace, was a MAGA black rapper.
Mm-hmm.
And the word on the street is that he died of an STD that people think is HIV. And he was like anti-COVID, very anti-vaccine, extremely pro-Trump, conspiratorial, spreading misinformation and all this shit. And after he passed, he wanted everything secret about his health and how he died and stuff. And the MAGA crowd was like mourning him, but not saying what happened.
Right.
And then a girlfriend of his was like, this motherfucker gave me HIV and he wouldn't get tested. And she went into detail on her Instagram Live, posted threads about it.
Wow.
And so, yeah, what I was saying is like, he, whether he knew or didn't know, she found out because she got that test.
Right. She got tested,
and he refused to get tested. So you're right. Men will use women as the like, you get tested and I'll see if I got something, which is fucking insane.
Right.
Especially if you're, not together, like someone's cheating, you never know, but a motherfucker like that, I would definitely get tested. This nigga don't even want to take a COVID test. I got to get everything tested up in here.
Correct. Right. And it's one of those things where people go through different, things in life. And particularly if you out here going whole life, yes, get tested. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
M. Nicole says, yes, indeed. Key says, or Key, probably Key. Chadwick was capturing black historical movies like Infinity Stones. I forgot how funny that was. Black History. Alicia says, I love the Black History movie trailer. I always imagine Chadwick dressed as each person. As you go through the lineup in the final Black History quote, he's dressed as Justin. Coach Malik Bailey says, you're right, Rod. Comedy and entertainment is so subjective. Me and my father used to crack up listening to the Jerky Boys, crank calling people, but my friends who weren't into it. Who cares, right? At the end of the day, dog, that's where I'm at with my shit. Like, we're all unreasonably asking for consensus on entertainment, and It's not gonna happen.
Mm-mm.
And I recognize, people are human, and we're not machines and robots. And sometimes people aren't even really expressing what they think they're expressing when they're like, I don't like this thing, or I do like that thing. But end of the day, man, I like what I like, and I feel very confident in the things I like. I think what bothers some people is that there's a level of like superiority they want to have to their opinion. So it's like, I don't like this thing and you do like it. And the thing is, I'm a pretty thoughtful person. If I like something, I normally have thought about it. I have reasons I like it. You might not agree with the reasons. That's fine. But most people I notice in those type of conversations, they back down because they just don't like conflict, and they're like, oh God, you don't like a thing that I do like, and I'm sorry that you're right, I'm stupid, I don't even know. And I'm like, why would I lie to myself? I did like it, and I don't think I'm stupid, and I don't think you not liking it should make me not like it. And I'm not looking for consensus and community with my opinion on what I like and don't like.
Yeah, and I think that's why you bump head with a lot of people, because there are people out there, they're like that. They're like, my opinion is, they don't say it, but their vibe is, my opinion is the only opinion. And if you don't agree with my opinion, you either got to lay down and get down. And everybody don't function like that. And I'm to the point where I like what I like, period. And you ain't got to like what I like, but also I do not have to defend what I like because it's not the shit that you like. Like, it's okay that we all do not have to agree on the same thing. We are different people, different personalities, come from different backgrounds, have different senses of humor. Like me and Roger love fucking Flight of the Conchords. A lot of people be like, them white boys ain't funny. It don't matter. They're fucking hilarious to us. And so, it's one of those things where I don't get into it with these people because I don't feel like I have to defend what I like. So fuck it.
Yeah. All right. Next episode is 2855 Sugar Ray Leonard. Appia says, I learned my lesson. I'm sure Beyonce's new music is the best music that ever was created in the history of the world. Even without having listened to it yet, 18 out of 10. Yeah, that's the smart thing to do. Mary says, okay, this is a shout out to the pre-live show jams. Y'all are missing out if you're not in the chat. Listen, I'm an old woman from Los Angeles. I don't know any young blues singers from South Carolina. Thank you, Rod, for playing that King George song. I know it wasn't set the stage we could properly celebrate the Queen, but I am obsessed. Thank you for turning me on to that joint. This train gonna keep on rolling. LOL.
Oh, thank you. And Roger puts I know he puts me on to a lot of music, and a lot of times put the chat room on to a lot of music, particularly a lot of current rappers and all types of music, really. And so, you know, a lot of people come in, who this, who that, and they find out different types of music. It is really, really fun for those of you that are not on YouTube, but like on Crowdcast. For those of you that come to Crowdcast, you actually hear us kind of warming up and preparing for the show. And it is actually a really, really good time in the chat room.
Yeah, I play a lot of music beforehand, probably about 15 to 30 minutes before we start the show. I'll hop in, play some music, whatever I'm feeling like that day. Sometimes I'll just play an album if I'm in the mood for that. Like, I know I was in a Badu mood for a few days, a couple weeks ago. But you know, sometimes people get put on to stuff, and I listen to stuff not like, just sometimes a little off the beaten path. And sometimes it'll be a theme, like, you know, okay, let me look up some black country music and see what's out there. Because you know, to set the stage for Beyonce. But it also, some of those songs I'm hearing for the first time and I'm learning too. And that's literally exactly how I become like more knowledgeable about artists and stuff, is going on my Spotify and checking out different playlists or letting it suggest stuff to me.
And it's
I always
really
go through
good.
I always go through the like suggested for like new for you, new hip hop,
Don't they have rising new artists or something like that?
Depends on, I mean, they have a lot of different lists. And
Okay.
I click on, I'm the one who clicks on those things. A lot of people don't. They go, they find the albums they already liked and they just listen to them for the rest of their lives.
Right.
Which is fine. I mean, I do have my days of nostalgia, but I like exploring and finding new stuff and really digging into someone's catalog and really being like, okay, I'm a fan of this person now. Or, you know, sometimes, I mean, I ain't gonna lie, sometimes it's a miss and you're like, I don't like this or whatever.
Right. And it could be all over the place. Like somebody suggested on Twitter a song called Buckle Bunny, and that shit bops. They was like, oh, you like that Beyonce? You gonna like this too. And I think it's a white girl, but child, that is my motherfucking new jam for right now.
It's a black woman.
Oh, it is? Okay.
Yeah. Tanner Adele is her name. So I believe she's black, at least from the pictures I've seen.
Okay.
But yeah, you just gotta get out there and try something new. Layla says, Karen is killing me this year with the off the cuff quips. First moving pictures, and now Sugar Ray Leonard instead of Billy Ray Cyrus. I fucking scream. They're not quips. That's just they're mistakes. Also, Dracarys on David Lucas, that the bootlicking, buck shuffling, Cracker Barrel pancake eating, shucking and jiving. What's the matter? We boss, we sick. Looking ass nigga. I hope the next racist white ass he chooses to bury his nose in is fully encrusted with diarrhea. I hear you. Yeah, I saw a clip going around where he went on Willie D's show, and Willie D was asking him about that joke, which I thought was crazy for a couple of reasons. Willie D is the dude from the Ghetto Boys, but he also made that "Where the Coons at? Where the Coons at? Where they at? Where they at? Where they at?" And I think that song might got 2-3 remixes at this point. But I guess and Willie D was mad at Scarface and stuff. I mean, Willie D ain't the kind of nigga you play with, in my opinion. And I think he went on on Willie D's podcast face to face, and they had this moment of being active.
When you're watching a comedian on stage, turn your emotional ears off. I'm there to dictate your emotions. I'm a dictator at that point. So if you take me serious, that's on you. I'm a comedian and I'm on the spectrum.
Where is this coming from? I mean, he's been around
because he's been
around politicians for a long time.
He saw through Obama.
He saw through Obama.
What did Obama?
So he didn't see through all those other damn presidents that he been patting pockets.
But I'm saying
he didn't see through none of them, right?
What y'all talking about? Cancel me. So if you cancel me, what y'all want me to do? Sell drugs, rob and steal? And which one of those is doing more harm to our community?
But you took it a step further, and you said, would have shot that nigga. You've had a week or so to think about what you said. Do you still feel the same way as far as the joke, upholding the joke and being defiant and unapologetic about it?
So now I will say this is kind of the same vibe of like capitalizing on the pandemonium to me. Like Willie D, saw a viral moment, and I think a lot of people, this is kind of the Shannon Sharp effect. This is the, the podcast effect that we're going through right now. Instead of people being like, I'm going to admonish this shit, it's like, how do I get the views off of this shit?
Yes,
and
sir.
Whether he's well-intentioned or not, you brought this dude on that's essentially a coon to have a conversation as if y'all are intellectual equals and as if there's some merit to his point of view. Now, maybe you do feel there's some merit, and I didn't watch the thing, so who knows what was said, but just in that clip, I just saw a dude that's going to deflect, talk about black on black violence and
everything, but yeah, not being on topic. Yes.
Yeah. And then honestly, the reason that David Lucas goes on there is because in the crowds that he runs in and the people that support him, there's nothing, you don't get a bigger pat on the back than going into black people's face and saying the anti-blackness to their face.
Right.
That's actually what the George Floyd joke clip that was shared online, that's actually what it's about. Yes. I walk these black people because I'm not afraid of them. I'm not afraid of telling them the white supremacist truth that I believe and that the white fans of mine believe and that the comics that kill Tony and that I kick it around with, they believe all this shit. So I'm not afraid to say this to black people, and there's no bigger bona fide in those circles than doing that. I told them. They go back there and to their circles and they're like, and I wasn't afraid. I told them. Mm-hmm. I don't care that you're going to get these jokes. And,
they create their own reality regardless of what happens.
And they act like they're heroes for it. So, yes. But yeah, that dude he's not back. He put out a quote unquote apology, but it wasn't a real apology. It was him basically saying, Steven Jackson and the family of George Floyd, he's sorry that they were hurt by the joke, but he didn't sound like he was going to stop telling it or like he regretted telling it or whatever.
Then you're not sincere. Don't even say nothing then. Don't waste people's time.
Yeah. I mean, keep fucking around. We'll see what happens. I know Steven Jackson and them, really take that shit personal. He was friends with George Floyd, so I don't know if they're ever going to run in the same circles and see each other in the streets, but, good luck.
Good luck to you all.
Ramsey D. Jenkins says 5 stars. Billy Ray Cyrus, aka Sugar Ray Leonard, took me all the way out. Not to mention the cowboy hats you both wore. Thank you. Shoe Booty says Beyonce gonna popularize this little cowboy emoji, and I can't see the emoji, but I imagine you put it on there. Mm-hmm. And says so about Beyonce and her country music song / album. I live in Houston, and there has always been a small segment of the black community that are country fans. You see more of them during the Houston rodeo every year, dressed in their hats, boots, and jeans. You might remember a singer named Charlie Pride. The problem is that they used to only get black performers for the concerts during Black Heritage Day. It's usually been mainly R&B. Now they've switched to mainly hip hop for a couple of nights. One year they had Leon Bridges, who was somewhere between blues and country. There's another singer named Mickey Guyton who would probably sell out, but they haven't had her there. Maybe they will now. Anyway, my point is, I think Beyonce songs will do well, if only for the fact there's an existing underserved market for it. Yeah, I think they'll do well for a myriad of reasons. Mainly, she's Beyonce and she'll bring her fans with her into wherever she goes. And it's Beyonce, so you got to get used to just the amount of opinions that we're gonna have to hear. There's gonna be a lot of skepticism, a lot of negativity, even from black people, even from black women a lot of times, because it's like they don't want to be looked at as like a sheep or whatever the fuck, or or you got to be critical. I got to be, I got to keep my creds and all this shit. But at the end of the day, she makes music that brings communities together, and I think creating a space that and she also does a lot of community in her work, by which I mean, and I always get so upset by this, but when you look at a Beyonce album credits, you see all those people.
Yes.
And those people are people that are already professionals. Meaning, when she does certain things, she shines a light on people, make sure they get their money and their credit, which is not something, if y'all don't know much about the music industry, you can't take that for granted, because there's a lot of these people where you see an album and they only got like a couple producers and a couple of this. And what that really means is everybody that worked on that album ain't get shit. Like, they got a check and then they were told, you ain't getting credit, I'm taking the credit. Many producers do that. Many producers. Some of your favorite albums that seem like, oh man, Dr. Dre made that. And then you start looking into the background, it's like this motherfucker, and this motherfucker did not get the credit for the work they did on that shit. And so she goes out of her way to make sure people get credit. You don't hear a lot of stories about motherfuckers coming out of working with Beyonce and being like, yo, she really fucked me over on that. Like, and keep in mind, she's prolific and works with a lot of people. So you would hear these stories, right? Mm-hmm. But you don't hear these stories about her. And so what I'm saying is, if she steps into another genre, like when she made that kind of like blended Afrobeat album, and of course Twitter and No Name were trying to find some angle to hate on her, because that's what they do. She breathes, these motherfuckers, she breathed wrong, whatever. But one of my favorite moments on Twitter was when No Name and all these people were shitting on Beyonce. Beyonce ain't going back and forth with these niggas, so it's whatever. But the amount of actual artists that worked on the project, like, Black is King, paid. Who didn't just say they got paid, though. They came out and said, she gave us the credit. She gave us the creative freedom. She shone a light on us to get us attention we weren't getting.
Right.
And we got paid. Like, fuck you. Like, it wasn't don't do this in my name, acting like you helping me and being like, she stole Afrobeats. No, she didn't. She came in, she respected us, she respected the genre, she respected our acumen, she treated us like professionals and in every single way. And fuck you. We don't want this type of help where you're trying to make us victims or create a grievance that isn't there. And I hope, my highest of hopes, we get that for Black people that's been doing country music and all this stuff. We already saw on Texas Hold'em, they were highlighting a woman from up the road in North Carolina who played I think either the fiddle or she played some instrument on that track. And I said, of course Beyonce and them found her. Of course they did. That's what she do. She's not like, that's why I'm like, people are like, is it even gonna be a country album? Yes, one, it's gonna be a country album because country is not the 80s shit, the 70s shit that you think it is. Because no, and I'm being fair because I don't listen to a shit ton of country, but the amount that I have heard, it don't sound like it used to sound anyway.
No,
so
it don't.
You had like Diplo come in and make fucking country music, like a fucking DJ. Like, so there's no sacredness to country anymore anyway. It's very much like pop culture, contemporary pop music, crossover, genre bending stuff. Rap has infiltrated country in many facets. Even if they're not doing a straight up rap, just the culture of rap. They're rapping. Country isn't just, my dog got shot and my wife left me. It's a lot of like, I got this truck and we about to have a good time. And I got on, they just flex in a different way. I got on these type of boots and these type of jeans.
And this type of hat. Yes.
So it's not what you think anyway. And I think a lot of people will be introduced to or welcome back to the genre. And there are going to be some gatekeepers that don't like it. But honestly, fuck them. They don't like shit anyway. And if I know anything about the Beehive, they come ready for a fight. So it's
regardless of if it's one day or not, they come with their sword.
It's best to just leave everybody alone.
Correct.
And everybody come in. And I hope people treat it that way, because I think she'll make a collaborative project with a lot of people over there that will welcome her. And, fuck the ones who don't. But yeah, Hustle No Flow says, I listened to the comedian segment and I was caught off guard. I was caught wondering, what was the actual right approach as an audience member? Is it better to heckle, boo, or walk out? Like, clearly the crowd was full of people that liked it, which is a room that I don't want to be in. But it feels like he gets his way. He gets to go viral and you miss the rest of the comedians. Would I want to see other comedians? I don't know if I could get back in the mood to laugh at other comedians after this guy sucked the fun out the room. Yeah, he also did another thing too of making the black people who stayed complicit, because he was like, y'all ain't got a problem, right? Like, right, fuck them. You good though, right? You gonna stay? I felt like his purpose was to walk the black people in the room.
Yeah, and also it's personal preference, and it's one of those things where, because one of the people that left was like, nigga, I come here all of the time. Like, you gonna be gone next week and I'm still gonna be here. So, for some of those people, they're like, hey, we come here kind of regardless of what the room is. And it's one of those things to where, as an audience member, that's your right and your choice. And if you choose to stay and be like, well, I want to see somebody after him, I should have that right too. I shouldn't, quote unquote, be forced to leave unless I want to leave. And the thing is, like I said, it's a personal preference, but because it's online and shit like that, and when shit hit online, people judge and bring their personal preferences and all that shit into the picture versus just allowing people to make their choices to leave and make their choices to stay. But like you say, because he purposefully was like, y'all cool because y'all niggas didn't leave. And it was like, I'm not really cool with this, but at the same time, I shouldn't have to leave because you're being an ass.
Yeah, I think I personally would have left. I probably wouldn't have said anything, but I think I would have left even if I knew like his goal is to walk me or whatever. In that moment, I just don't want to be in a room of a guy who's not there to actually entertain me. He's putting his foot in the ground and saying, I'm here for the white people to laugh at the black people and to laugh at the murder of George Floyd. And that's not for me. And I wouldn't think twice about, oh no, this is going to be viral. So me having integrity makes his moment go viral. Okay.
Right.
Like what? And also like, this is a big thing for me. I'm not, one of these motherfuckers that believe, you shouldn't give attention to somebody that wants attention. A lot of times I have to play it by ear, but a lot of times I'll be your huckleberry because I'm like, the attention you're getting from me, I don't feel like I'm participating in uplifting you. That's why I'm not knocking Willie D for having him on. I feel like it's mostly a waste of time, but I wouldn't knock him because I think you're exposing his ignorance. Now, his group of people are going to uphold him no matter what he does. As long as he never gets up and says, actually, Black lives do matter and the murder of George Floyd was murder.
Right.
As long as he doesn't say that, they're going to make excuses for whatever he does. That's why he likes those fans.
Right.
He doesn't have to be funny. It's the easiest job in the world. You don't have to be funny. You just tell those white people what they want to hear, and they'll make sure you're protected and patted on the head like the good little boy that you want to be. But when you want to expose that negativity, you can. And so I wouldn't be like, yeah, you went viral for being a coon. Okay. I don't feel bad that I was on the tape walking out. The nigga that dapped him though, that's weird. Um,
And I don't eat it. And also, for me and Roger, we literally think anything is funny. All I was like, well, nigga, it wasn't funny. There's no punchline. What's the goddamn
well,
joke?
I don't
here?
think anything is funny, but I'll
anything framed right.
I will try to give people the benefit of the doubt, but I don't think like that shit. To me, that shit, it wasn't even that it just wasn't funny. It was like clearly designed to be funny to a certain type of person.
I can see that.
And that type of person to me is not laughing at the joke. They're laughing at the pain of black people. It's totally different to me. And I would say the same thing about, because I think people draw that when it's not their group, they don't care.
Right.
That to me is what Dave Chappelle does when he talks about trans people. I don't give a fuck what y'all say. I don't give a fuck how you try to spin it. And it's just a joke. Well, it didn't feel like just a joke when they were talking about George Floyd did it. So when he's talking about beating up trans women and punching gay women in the face and shit, I'm not sitting up there acting like, oh yeah, in this environment, ha ha ha. I'm like, that happened. What's so fucking funny about that?
Correct.
So yeah, and he'll keep pussyfooting around with that. I don't even know where that word comes from, but
me either. I know it has a root
Pussy
somewhere.
Willows? Is it stepping into the Pussy Willows? Anyway,
I don't know.
He'll keep messing around with that shit.
We old, y'all.
He'll keep messing around with that shit, and people gonna keep accepting it because the other stuff he says they think is funny or whatever.
Right.
And I'm a fan of his comedy. I think he's very funny. I think he can be extremely insightful and all that type. But that shit is whack to me, and I would be I couldn't live with myself if I sat up here and pretended that shit wasn't whack. And he was clearly not skilled enough to bring the room back, especially when so many people made it seem like he wasn't really on the edge anyway. It just seems like such a terrible end to what was supposed to be a fun night out. And I'm not sure how I would have handled it, that level of trolling in person, but I definitely wouldn't fist bump that punk on the way out.
Oh, somebody says it means walking lightly like cats, because they call cats pussies.
Oh, okay, cool. Mm-hmm. All right. I didn't know.
Thank you.
I said it and I was like, wait, what the fuck?
Because I've heard that phrase since I've been a kid, so yes.
I said it and I was like, what the fuck? Like, dude, is it putting your foot in a vagina? Is it like who came up with that? Why do we say that? I hope I wasn't saying some offensive shit while I was trying to just tell this motherfucker that it was being offensive. Anyway, Evie says, I may not be super knowledgeable about comedy, but I know about it enough. I know enough about it to know that comedy is ever evolving. If you just follow a trend, that shit eventually gets old. But I guess it just gets easier to some comedians to be edgelords than to actually hone their crafts. What makes that joke extra whack is that he never would have told it in a majority black crowd. That comedian is super corny for getting your TikTok taken down. And I know it was him because people like that can always dish it out but can't take it. Hope the ancestors gave him a bad case of jock itch on Black History Month. Well, shit, he's getting to go on Willie D's podcast now. But I would say, I think a lot of the I'm offensive comics to me are comics that gave up. That's how, the ones with the caution tape over their mouths on the cover of their albums and always, everyone's gonna be so offended by this. To me, most of those jokes are never worth it. And even for people I do like their comedy, you can tell when a person's like, I would like to express an edgy thing to kind of tightrope with the audience, and there's a skill level to it, which is why comedians are drawn to it. I don't give a fuck who the comedian is. You watch their special, they got a segment in there or something that makes everybody go, whoa, at least at first thought, like, whoa, what's up with this premise? And then skillful comedians can walk you back, but still remain the protagonist, still get you on their side or come around to their point of view. And so, yeah, I love that stuff if it's done well, but that is the hardest comedy to do, but it's also the easiest to give up and just be like, well, the point is to make you offended. And I never agree with that. I feel like the point is to bring the room back to some level of consensus, or it's not really a skill at that point.
No, it's not.
If I'm just walking to a room full of bigots and be like, we all hate X people, right? And they go, yeah, ha ha ha, I love this guy. Let's take a picture together. Greatest black guy I've ever seen. That's not
turned
funny
into a rally.
Right, exactly. That's a great point. I love some country music. I grew up with classics like Kenny Rogers, Dolly Parton, and Garth Brooks. I like some of the newer artists, but a lot of country sounds so poppy that I'm not sure if it's still actually country music. So, people are only mad at B for making country music because they're racist and label her a cop hater. But the haters are gonna just have to hate because the queen is taking over country, and I'm here for it. She's already taken over TikTok, where everyone choreographing new dance steps to her song. Yeah, I see they trying to work it out over there. I only seen one video that I really thought might catch on, and that's because you have to be able to repeat the dance, the whole song. Because if it's just you doing the motherfucking floss dance and shit, it's like, well, what people not doing? They're not changing the dance every 3 seconds for 5 minutes. You got to get that kind of like, here's our rotation, like a square dance or a line dance, and you reset and you do it again.
Yes, I've only seen one that was very good, and one I seen was two brothers. It was simple. It was they repeated it around the circle, and it was on beat.
Yeah, so we'll see if it catches on. And with B releasing country music, I've been introduced to a lot of new Black country artists, and I'm loving it. Good for you. And same. Let's see. Any comments on? I know we got comments on YouTube for this one.
Okay.
Oh yeah, we got a lot. Professor LCH says LOLOLOL #country era. Alicia said, because this is the one we wore the hats and stuff. Alicia says, now we all know Alicia's voice ain't been the same since she stole that lady family. Ooh.
Oh no! Oh,
it does say Alicia Nicole, so maybe she related to Nicole.
Oh shit! Now
I'm just saying.
You got some you want to tell us, Nick Jew?
Y'all could be friends. I'm just saying. Pew 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 pew. Says Tiffany. Dostry says had to come to YouTube to see the hats. Yeehaw. Honey says Karen is Barbara from Albert Elementary saying Sugar Ray Leonard when you mean Billy Ray Cyrus is wild. Love y'all so much. Hard emoji. Thank you, honey.
I didn't even think about that. That is what Barbara does.
I think about it all the time. Jay Houston says this town ain't big enough for the two of us, and this episode was all I didn't know I needed. Thank you, Karen, for staying true to the assignment. That hat was committed. CHM818 says this is the funniest introduction ever. And Turk Ross says the thumbnail alone is priceless. Also, Karen, please never change. Thank you, everybody. We appreciate y'all.
We do. Thank you.
All right, before we go to the next couple of episodes, let me play some music so that we can keep getting this money. This one is called Resolute. Let's get to the next episode. 2856 Post Serious Society. We had 4 comments. Appia says, I get the principle behind gender wars now. The second one was really almost perfect. I'm glad you get it. And that's the point of sticking around and listening, because sometimes you don't always understand. And you just listen, you get the context, and you be like, oh, that's what they mean. Shoe Booty says Monique being spoken for about her man in that video. It reminds me of how Pastor Anton Mans was speaking for and about Natalia Grace on that doc on HBO, The Curious Case of Natalia Grace. It's weird and territorial. I never seen that, but I've heard about it. Ramsey D. Jenkins says, please tell me that Sidney Hicks will make the Coon Countdown on TikTok. No, he won't. He won't. The Coon TikTok, if I just open it up to niggas I don't like, I would have way too much pushback, and also people would start suggesting people, which they already do, that I don't agree with them.
Right?
Like, you might personally not like Oprah. I don't think she's a cunt.
Agreed.
You know that. So it's just certain shit. I'm like, that's your personal list of coons. Leave me the fuck alone, and I don't want to get harassed for it. So I had to pick like people that I'm like this, like some of these, and also I'm only highlighting 29 people out of all the billions of black people on the planet. You got to be excellent. It can't be no like,
can't be mediocre to average.
It can't be like, oh, this nigga fucking up Monique's career. It got to be like, this nigga said black people should go back to slavery. Now that I'm willing to put on the list.
That'll catch my eye.
So y'all find some clips of Sidney saying that, let me know. EVE says, I think when people go on a years-long vendetta against someone like Monique against Tyler Perry and Oprah, they eventually tell on themselves. all these years she's been telling people that the production company just wanted her to promote Precious without any kind of compensation. And while that may technically be true, the way she framed it seemed like all expenses would be on her. But from her mouth, she said they offered her travel, boarding, and all other expenses to promote. Yeah, even a free week in the hotel and stay in a vacation in Italy for an extra week. Maybe I'm ignorant on this, but doesn't expenses include some kind of stipend or spending money? Maybe, but I don't know. But you're right in that a lot of times it includes a per diem. But I don't. It sounded like she wanted more money. I once again speculating and presuming. I don't know, and I'm sure she would say a different story. But my guess is like her rate is higher than what she got paid. It's a great role. She got the 50,000 or whatever 500,000 that she got for the role. And I'm sure she could have done something else and made more money. But it's a passion project that had a script that she loved and all this stuff, and it was a star-making turn for her. And or bigger, make her a bigger star. Let's just say that, because I'm sure she would say she was already a star or something. But maybe she just was like, that wasn't that much money, and I did all the like American promotion. I know it's becoming bigger than we thought, but I'm not gonna participate in this because I want more. Like all this for the 50,000 or 500,000, whatever. Maybe she just did that. Maybe it could be that simple, and it had to turn into something else, because I think when Sydney's involved, it becomes like a measure of blackness and black people and black business, and instead of it being about this is what we wanted and we wanted something a little unorthodox, and they said no. The other thing too that always gets left out this equation is that no matter how good you feel about Precious and the script and the producers and the studio, you still have no guarantee it's gonna have the staying power and the hype and the acclaim that movie ended up getting. Meaning, they probably did, when they started this journey, they weren't thinking like, and we'll be at the Cannes Film Festival because this is gonna be one of the X amount of movies that people go, this is a front runner for Oscars. I absolutely can see how they were as surprised as she, and they thought it was a celebratory thing. Like, girl, we all going to Cannes. We about to, like, this shit is really blowing up. You're doing it. And she was like, or Sydney, whoever, was like, not without some more money. And they were like, oh, come on. Like, everybody else is going to be there. No one else gets this money. It's basically 2 free weeks in Italy. And it's like, nah, fuck that. I want my money, and that's the only thing I'm willing to talk about. And if I can't get my money, then I'm going home. Fuck y'all. And I can, like I said, from the whole time I've been thinking about this, I've had to check myself and go back to, because I really do feel like I get charmed by Monique. I think she has a personality, charismatic. That draws you in. She reminds me of so many people I know. She's a black woman. I think she's cute. I got a lot of like biases that lead me to just be like enthralled to where I'm like, yeah, and I'm empathetic to the point where I'll be like, oh, I just want to fix this problem. I just want this to be better. But I have to stop and think sometimes where I'm like, wait, man, a lot of her stuff begins and ends with her. Mm-hmm. It's just when she gets what she wants, that means black women and black people got what they want. And that language has fooled me in the past, where someone uses macro and micro and confuses things into like, no, this isn't about me being blank. It's about all of us. And nah, it's boycott Netflix for me. I got my special. Everybody come back to Netflix. Not boycott when it's the Dave Chappelle trans controversy. Not boycott when it's, anything else. Not like there's no other cause she's ever come out and told us to stand for or against. Every cause that she told us to stand for or against begins and ends with what her and Sydney want in that moment. And I can't unsee it now. And I feel like I was fooled a little bit by the Shannon Sharp thing. I feel like that's what that show is for. It's a place where people go vent and get only their side of the story out. But yeah, now that I look back on it, I'm like, yeah, I can agree that the business is fucked up. I can agree that some of these people ain't on the up and up. But some of the way you frame stuff, if you think about it for anything more than just a few seconds, like, wait, actually, that's not how that business is done. And you're fucking up other people's money and reputations, and then getting mad when they go, this person's difficult to work with. And so, yeah, I can't be, just because I'm sympathetic to people feeling aggrieved doesn't mean I should be leaving excuses for them that I wouldn't make for the other people. And unfortunately, it was especially the stuff with her son that really brought me back to like, wait a minute, I remember this now. I remember some of the ways you've framed things just to get what you want. And then the second you got what you wanted, you were out. For all this, I love us for real and shit. After Cat Williams went on Club Shay Shay, you could not count how many people had a story about how Cat Williams helped them out.
They be coming out the woodwork.
It's been 2-3 weeks now. What's up? Where everybody at? Like, I'm sure you got people that's done stand up or took a picture with her, but I mean, whether I was doing this and she helped me out, or if it wasn't for this, I wouldn't have a career without it. Nah, I don't know that her stuff really stretches beyond what happens with her and Sydney and her career, which is fine, but don't try to bring me into it or make me a bad black person if I don't give a fuck. Anyway, you said, like you said, Rod, I can see both sides. She clearly made it seem like they did her super dirty. In my opinion, the problem is that her husband shouldn't be her business manager. I think Monique would be much more successful if he was a better businessman. But most of the people who have fallen out with her have cited Sydney as a problem. It's always some business shit. I can't unsee it. And mostly, I just had an epiphany one day when I thought about how many times she's told that story about how she was a bad mom, a bad, immature woman, and Sydney came into her life and raised her, and he's her daddy, and she wouldn't be shit without him. And I kept thinking, as a husband, as a man, as a business partner with my wife, if she was talking like that in the interview, I would have to tell her, please stop. That is, one, it's embarrassing. Two, you already was somebody. So, like, if we gotta go to therapy for you to believe in yourself, then we need to do that, because at no point should I be taking credit for your talent and your skills. Not saying don't give me credit for what I can do, but I ain't everything. If I leave tomorrow, you still gotta be somebody. That ain't got shit to do with me at that point. And our love has to be based on a healthy respect for each other, not I'm your daddy. Are you serious, nigga? You will let somebody act like it, your spouse, your equal is your child? That's what they telling people, and you cool with that? That's like some the Mac pimp shit. I don't know, like, and I know there's some men that get down like that, but I don't respect any of those men either. So, like, you know what I mean? When I know that's some men's like, I need a submissive, da-da-da. Cool. I don't kick it with those type of niggas because I think they're weird. I would like an equal, nigga. I would like someone to come home to and we share thoughts and we both on the same plane. And sometimes they disagree, and sometimes they're right, and sometimes you're wrong, and sometimes they just want to do what they want to do, and sometimes they like it. Who the fuck wants a child as a goddamn anyway?
Who wants a kid, right?
It's crazy to me that you would sit there and let somebody say that, and you supposed to be daddy, and you wouldn't go, hey, no. We don't need that. We don't need that. Even if you felt that way secretly in your own relationship, why the fuck would you let this person fuck their career up saying this over and over again? Because even the people that support her, even the black women who've been taken in and go, I'm on her side, none of them like that daddy shit. None of them. And it ain't no sugar baby shit where it's like, I call him daddy because he take care of everything. That's not what she's saying. She still make all the money, has all the talent. This isn't that. So yeah, I don't know how people gonna justify anything because they think it's support. But this is one of the reasons I said I don't think of the internet as a place where real support can happen.
Agreed.
Because your investment in the people as a human being is not physical enough. It's not real enough for y'all to for the internet to really be a support system.
En masse, yes.
Because too much shit happens that in real life is nuanced and a conversation, but when you're on social media, it's all yes, queen, as opposed to like if my friend was like, hey, I'm going out tonight and I'm fucking 37 people without a condom. Twitter might clown the person, kill yourself. Or Twitter might be like, it's your right, it's your body, do what you want.
You don't never know how they're gonna respond.
But the point being, they don't care about the end results. If telling you kill yourself and you kill yourself, they don't really give a fuck. Mm-hmm. If they tell you go do it and you go do it, and you're nasty bitch, ha ha ha, just jokes. If they say don't do it, it doesn't necessarily come from a good place. It's more, like, but if that was me, your friend or whatever, you say I'm about to do, hey, you okay?
Right. Is everything all right? What's happening?
Why are you telling everybody this?
Right.
Why? What's going on? What's making you want to have this behavior? This ain't like you. How do I know it ain't like you unless I know you
personally, right?
It's stuff like that. So I can't even look at Twitter support because they'll support you into the fucking grave.
Yes, they will.
They will support your career being fucked up just to make sure that like, I'm on your side. Well, being on somebody's side sometimes would be a real conversation of like, this ain't gonna happen. Low key, one of the most fucked up things that happened in all of this was when Steve Harvey tried to help her and they should have had an inside conversation. Now I blame Steve for trying to make that TV. You shouldn't have put it on TV. If that's really your friend, you shouldn't even try to make that into entertainment and content, because that conversation it's not a conversation that's going to make you or anyone look good.
Right.
It's only going to make both of y'all look bad to different groups of people. So you going, Monique, you got to like, let this go. Stop blaming all these people. You got to do the work, blah, blah, blah. But now you're capitulating to white supremacy, coon ass nigga trying to stop a black woman, blah, blah, blah. So that you weren't served by that conversation at all. And then she, of course, for the people that didn't like what she said, she becomes a stubborn, angry, bitter, don't want to work, impossible to work with, that difficult person. Dog, who was helped by that conversation? Nobody, because you're having fun of a room full of people that don't give a fuck.
Right.
But if you had that conversation in the dressing room, you know what I'm saying? I wouldn't even if nobody changed the word they said to each other, I'd be like, but I understand because y'all are friends and it doesn't look great. It doesn't look great, but I relate to what you're trying to do. Mm-hmm. This happens all the time with inside conversations with black people. Black people talk about black on black crime all the time.
Yes, sir.
But I'm never going on CNN and arguing with some white person or with some other nigga about black on black crime in front of these white folks. I'm never going to do it because I know that conversation will not be served there. Mm-hmm. But if somebody came on a podcast and we talked about black on black crime, I'm cool with that. In this atmosphere of trust and intra-community conversations, we could do that. So like, I just think there's a lot of moving parts here, but mostly I feel like, the support for her has driven it's shown you what quote unquote support looks like, and to the point where they think they're winning a fight against their son. There are people being like, she brought the receipts about her fucking son.
Right.
That's crazy. That is crazy. The receipts that's mostly 30 minutes of Sydney talking. Get out of here, man. Anyway. All right. No comments on the YouTube. The poll: did you date people even before you made $50,000? Yes or no?
Mm-hmm.
I did too, and you know what? 87% of the audience did, Karen, because that's crazy. But it was great content. It's great. It was a great podcast argument, but that's crazy.
But the reality is, that's not realistic for a lot of people. A lot of people have never made that much money in their lifetime.
Very good gender war segment, but also part of the reason it was good is because that's crazy. And on Spotify, 84% did, 15% did not. And you got to count some of those no's are people that probably go, I haven't made $50,000 a year yet.
Right.
So, some of those yeses, I'm sorry, are people that are like, I haven't made $50,000 a year yet. So,
right.
Yeah, it's like that's not. People don't all just make $50,000 a year.
Like I said, some people been working for decades and
have
never reached that amount.
None of my corporate jobs paid me $50,000 a year. By the time I left, I was not making $50,000 a year. So maybe you throw some benefits in there and shit, you can get to 50,000, but it wasn't no 50,000 in my pocket every year.
Not with the straight pay. No.
Let's see. Black History was the Q&A. Cleophas Wick Sniffer, the man who invented wick for candles, died sniffing his own wick. Says Olami. I don't know what that means.
That sounds dirty. I don't know why.
Mr. Span says, met my wife and was dating her long before I was making 50K. Shrug. Yeah, don't tell the podcast world. Toy says, the situation with Monique and her husband definitely gives pimp and hoe. You didn't want to say it, but I will. Well, you the expert. You know about, you work in the arena with domestic violence and assault and abuse in a way that I don't.
Right.
She said, you didn't want to say it, but I will. It has all the signs of exploitation that victims of assault fall prey to. Yeah, that's like, I try not to throw around heavy words like that, especially because I don't know these people, but like on the outside looking in, because they've made it our business, I feel a little more comfortable being like, well, this is what I think, because y'all want to know what everybody thinks. You want everybody to join up with what the fuck y'all say. I don't know how you can differentiate what Sydney's doing from the tactics of isolation that people often use on people, where it's like, you're now isolated from your family, your business contacts, your peers, in a way that keeps them from being able to comment on what you're going through and go, is everything really okay here? Because this does not look like it is beneficial for you. They become the enemy. They become, they hate black women. They hate, like, nobody can say what you're doing is a bad look without being anti-black. That's crazy. Like, people got opinion, and keep in mind, they give opinions on other people all the time over there too. So like, why the opinion's gonna be one-sided one way? I don't know. Creasy says, I'm not Lululemon. I'll call the police on your black ass. Karen, that's a bar. Masterclass 11 says, Octavia Spencer, not Octavia Butler, the sci-fi author, but I love it. My bad. I had a tank too. I'm pretty sure that was me. So sorry about that. And the last episode of the week was Ruthless Beard, 2857. 6 comments. Swabby P says, now I'm not one to cape for the white man, but with all the buzz going on with Beyonce going country, I couldn't help but wonder, how's this different from when Justin Timberlake went back into the woods? Hear me out. JT, during the promo for the album, put on the flannel. B had on that Woody from Toy Story hat at the Grammys, and then the Dolly P platinum blonde hair at the Super Bowl. JT is from Memphis, Tennessee. B is from Houston, Texas. So I can't help but wonder, how is this different? I'll be honest, I never understood the backlash JT got when he went into the woods. I guess because I see artists pivot all the time, and I consider it part of them being an artist. I just know JT somewhere looking at all this attention B is getting and punching the air right now. Help me make sense of this, Brother Rod, Sister Karen. Am I a coon? I would say yes, you are a coon for making this comparison, but it's mostly because your analogy is off. I would say that Justin Timberlake, first of all, Man in the Woods isn't really a folksy country album, which is interesting because I never really, the promotion for it was, I'm going back to whiteness. Like, I bought these clothes at motherfucking J. Crew and American Eagle.
Yeah, the Banana Republic.
So I'm going back. I'm gonna be a Banana Republican from now on out, and I'm gone, right? And so I think the promotion threw people off. I think the hardest thing to escape here is just that black women specifically were so upset with him over that Janet Jackson shit.
Mm-hmm.
He'll never be able to get right with black women no matter what he does for the rest of his life. And so it was just another way of being like, look at this white boy sellout motherfucker that pretended to be cool but never was. So I think that's why he caught a lot of that backlash. Now the difference is, I don't think Beyonce going into country feels like her going back to whiteness or back to something that is not her. It feels like she's bringing her full self to another genre.
Right.
And so I don't think your analogy works in that way, because you would need, like, Post Malone or the going from White Iverson to White's Only Son with that motherfucking that motherfucking country outfit he had singing America the Beautiful. That is closer to JT than this shit.
I can see that, yes.
In my opinion. So I So I just think the analogy's off. So yeah, I think you are cooning. Sorry. I gotta, you asked the question. I gotta keep it real. I can't just pander to y'all and make y'all feel bad. Make y'all feel good about stuff. But
coons will be coons. What do you want me to say?
That's hilarious.
I'm gonna let you slide on that coon comment. Next comment, you get blocked, sent into eternity.
Appia says, but is that really a negative buzz? She will break all the records again, I'm sure. And people of all races will gladly give her their money. Today, I was with my kids at a hippie-ish farm where we hike with llamas and alpacas. The very white, granola-looking animal caretaker instructor asked us if we already heard the new Beyonce country song. It was great. People love Beyonce. Edit, some might hesitate, but like with the Borgs, resistance is futile. If I was in charge of a radio station, no matter if it was death metal, techno, or classic German Volksmusik theme, I would still play Beyonce. So there's a couple things about what you said. Yes, there is resistance because there's always resistance to Beyonce, and especially after she just totally went like black.
Yeah, she identified, because before, particularly a lot of white women was like, we love her, and all of a sudden it's like, oh no, why are you reminding us that you black? And
Right.
A lot of them got very angry because they was like, we love you, we accept you as one of us, we ain't singulating it, we ain't put a ring on it no more. I like my Negro with my man with Negro noses, and they was like, oh no, and a lot of them got very angry.
So here's OAN with former Dukes of Hazzard actor John Schneider talking about Beyonce fans pressuring a radio station to play her new song.
The lefties in the entertainment industry just won't leave any area alone, right? They just have to seize control over every aspect, don't they?
They've got to make their mark, just like a dog in a dog walk park. Every dog has to mark every tree, right? So that's what's going on here. Shania and the other folks you talked about, what they did is they were in country music and they went out. That's one thing. But people coming into country music have because I know a little something about country music, and they see.
What make you think she don't?
Well, hold on. There's other points that I think. So number one, he was fine with people leaving country music and branching out into other genres, meaning it's okay when we do it. When white people want to go be pop or folk or whatever, if they decide to make a change where they originate in the country and go somewhere else, he didn't say they're going and pissing all over the park and marking trees and shit. He didn't say that. He didn't say that. The subtle comparison of Beyonce to Animal doesn't, that's, I won't go too woke on y'all, but come on. And then that's the resistance we're talking about. So while I don't think that radio station necessarily intended to do anything racist or even be racist, I think that radio station thing, the more I think about it, I think no harm, no foul.
Because the algorithm was like, we got to wait till the algorithm come up.
Yeah, I'll get to that in a second, but I don't think it was a big deal. And I think, the 100 or the 75 we were talking about is this feeling from whiteness that is expressed by John Schneider, former Dukes of Hazzard actor and current actor on a Tyler Perry series. Like, so when he wanted to branch out and go into some black shit and get employed by Tyler Perry and be the love interest of a black woman, he ain't had no problems getting that check. No one said he was marking his territory. This is like he's an actor. He's deciding to do a different role than he normally does. That's it.
Right.
This black woman says, I want to make a country album, and all of a sudden she's pissing on the trees in the park of the white man. And so, yeah, it is resistance. We're not making it up. Everyone's not on board. Maybe the people you listen to, the people you respect, will be like, yeah, I don't have a problem with it. And those people are cool. But there's a lot of people here in America that absolutely will have a problem. They won't get on board. And even with her sales and streams and all that stuff, just because people listen to it don't mean everybody listening to it. There's people that hate everybody. If we spent a year on this podcast talking about the most popular woman act in the world, which is Taylor Swift, and how much of that was us being like a lot of negative shit being said about her over this last year or so. Like, and if she ain't number one, she's number two. But the point being, most of the shit we talked about on this show was what I deemed to be unreasonable criticism of her for just fucking existing.
Yes.
And I think Beyonce is very much in that same boat of there's a lot of unreasonable criticism of her just for being an artist, like anybody the fuck else would be. And they tell on themselves when they say shit like, well, if you want to go from country music out, that's fine. Well, what the fuck did that mean? Because you're going into something else. When Taylor Swift made that pop album, 1989, which is a great album, but when she made that album, she was leaving country and going into something else. The folk music she makes now isn't really country. She's going into something else. He ain't going on OAN. OAN ain't mad. They ain't, well, they won't play. They not doing that. So yeah, I do think it stands what we said. There is negative buzz. But you listen to the right people, you won't hear it because we gonna be positive buzz. Evie says, what's kind of egregious and triggering about Monique's responses to her son is that she let her daddy do most of the talking. And the only thing she brought up in the first video is that Sydney can't be his daddy because he's already has 3 sons. Yeah, that is so weird. Because you claim to be his daughter, wife, business partner. And he got 3 sons too. He raising a wife and 3 sons. It's just, man, it's crazy over there. And I want off the ride. Mind you, Monique has 2 sons from previous relationships, and Sydney had 1 son from a previous relationship, and they have 2 together. As someone brought up by a man who isn't my bio dad, but is my father in every sense of the word, that would kind of hurt me to know this man I've known all my life doesn't consider me one of his. I guess he's no Russell Wilson, but still to claim his reason is because he knows Shalon's father is stupid. The same father Monique herself labeled abusive in her book. I need these people to be for real. And then to bring up this young man's mental health, just wow. All those text messages did was prove Shalon's point. Money doesn't compensate for love and time. The more that's come out, the more it seems Monique would rather be right than have a relationship with her son. And that's just sad. I see her as a queen of the pick-me. She let a man be a detriment to her career and her child. Yeah, I think also the sad thing too is like watching the 3rd video. He said it would be his last, and I hope it is. But watching that video, it became apparent, and it's obvious. He's still very, very hurt, even if he's trying to be like over it and find peace. He's very hurt. And their defense, rather than their like admission or empathy or understanding, or even just saying, we will honor your wish and stop talking about you, they're going on the attack or the defense on their Instagram and treating him like a troll on the internet. I think that hurt him in a way that probably he could not let go unaddressed, even if to all of us we're like, people either get your point or they don't, and more than likely you're not going to sway anybody by making more videos, and there's nothing else you can say that will change her mind or the people that support her's mind.
Right.
So I just felt sad for him because I'm like, I know how that feels when somebody keeps lying or saying something and you want to correct the record, but you can't because they're not going to ever admit that they were foul for that shit in a way that goes beyond just like a footnote of like whatever. And it shows to me like why Tyler Perry and Oprah and Kevin Hart probably never will respond and probably never should respond, because at the end of the day, she's and Sydney are entrenched in we never do anything wrong, and everyone else always does something wrong. And, Lee Daniels aside, I feel like even the Lee Daniels thing could have just simply been she got what she wanted. He gave in to the ransom. And so that's why she's using him to be like, see, I'm willing to forgive. It's like, You're willing to forgive, you get some money and compensation and everything you want, but you're not really willing to move on from this shit. You're gonna always, this will always be a thing you use against me.
Right. And it's also one of those things too. Yes, what you said is a true statement. She responded that way and she talks about him like she does because she got what she wants. But with people like that, you cannot guarantee and you don't know what the time frame is on that. And so I could see the other people going, no, I'm good. Like, you never burn me again. I'm not going to comment on it. I'm not going to talk about it because, like I've said, and I will continue to say this, yes, there was a time to fight. Don't get me wrong. But with this particular fight, you're going to look like a fool by yourself. I'm not jumping into this pointless fight with you. Because no matter what I say, no matter what I do, no matter what words I exchange, no matter if I'm valid in what I say or not, don't say, it's not going to change public opinion. And public opinion doesn't fucking matter. What matters are real feelings, my feelings, your feelings. Like those are the things that matter, not the public in mass. To them, it's just a fucking shit show and a mess and just content and all that stuff. And if you're a type of person, I understand these people do content for a living, don't get me wrong. But no matter who you are, there is some shit you don't want online. Just period. Everything and every aspect and every moment of your life is not meant for public consumption and for everybody, everywhere to consume all the time.
Yeah, I think once the shoe was on the other foot, you saw how she responded to being called out or called up, as she says, and it did something to me. It just did, and I can't lie about it. I saw it and I said, that is so ugly. When you claim what you want from all these other people is just an admission, just some level of empathy and all this shit, and we're still brothers and sisters and friends, and that didn't feel that way, and that's your real family. That's not some nigga that can help your career or hurt your career. There's nothing to gain to me for you publicly winning this debate or whatever with your kid. It just,
right. If you do that to them, who am I?
Yeah. If you can be unreasonable with them, then what are you leaving out of these other stories? But that's just me. They sure buried the lead on the OnlyFans story. When I saw it online, I thought they would put the wrong picture up because what did Rachel Dolezal have to do with it? Then I realized it was her.
What does she have to do with it?
What, that woman can't seem to stay out of the news. How does she keep getting hired? Wasn't she embezzling funds? I thought she was going to be a hair braider. And now that's how you know she's a white woman. She keep landing on her feet. Arctic Chick says, with Monique, I never begrudged her for advocating for the things she is owed. I don't agree with the methods for two reasons. One, because she says extremely hurtful things that she doesn't mean. Two, because she claims, and that's the thing. And then we always see her get a pass on that because, hey, she's angry. So it's okay to do those shit while you're angry. Two, because she claims she doesn't play the Hollywood games, but it seems like she doesn't mind when other people play the game on her behalf. However, I completely disengaged after the whole thing with D.L. Hewley's daughter, and I typically dislike his content as well. Monique's video response, as well as her sharing those text messages, makes her public persona look worse. I hope their family can eventually come to some sort of resolution because it's all very sad. Yeah, you really bring up something that I've thought for a while, but the black men in my life that I know, for the most part, a lot of them have a certain level of reverence or respect. They have a certain level of respect for D.L. Hewley that I don't necessarily have because some of the shit he said I found to be really bad and not well thought out. And I don't like his race shit is normally okay, but his woman shit is terrible. And even some of his joke opinion stuff about what comedy is, it feels like excuse making from a guy that claims to be a pretty righteous guy or whatever, but it's fine. You don't have to agree with everybody. But what you made me think about is how Monique is the flip side of that coin, where people with integrity and values and ethics that typically are not with some of the stuff she would do, they excuse it because they respect her grievance and her being a black woman and some of the things she's dealt with. And I feel like my whole life has been spent kind of in the middle of that kind of shit where I understand where people are coming from, and I've had to fight for my own individuality to be like, I don't necessarily fuck with that either. I can have empathy for your D.L. Hewleys. I have empathy for the brothers that sympathize with D.L. Hewley. I don't really fuck with D.L. Hewley on a lot of stuff, man. It's just he said some stuff that I can't imagine why he said that shit. And then Monique, same thing. Like I understand the plight, but then sometimes I'm just like, well, why would you do that? Angela says, hey, Rod and Karen, I've recently become a B fan. I've always liked the music here and there, but starting with Lemonade and the Black is King project, which the internet hated for some reason, I slid on all the way over. Her intentionality, study, planning, artistry, and compassion, which some Twitter warriors complain about. She don't have no 9 to 5. She trying to make money off of people. Right. Yeah. Meanwhile, they buy stuff. They support people. They're fans of shit.
Right.
They know what it is, but it's like you get to a certain amount of money, it's like your shit is different than everybody else's shit.
It hit different, and put like this. And the reality is, you ain't got to have no coins. If people have the illusion, that's all that matters.
All I'm saying is, if the difference is how successful I am at selling it, then your gripe isn't really with billionaires or coveting money. Your gripe is with my success, because I was thinking about it. I'm like, I don't really talk much shit about Beyonce, Jay-Z and them, because the rappers I listen to on the come up just want to be them.
Yes.
And it's like, it's okay to support them because they ain't made it yet.
Right.
But if Flo Milli somehow becomes a billionaire, now I gotta hate her? Nah, I'm okay.
Because I seen it happen with
And
Cardi.
I'm smarter than that. It's not an arbitrary number for me where I'm like, I hate your black ass. I don't care. And also it feels in a weird way highly aligned with like the white leftists that, want me to equate a certain amount of money with being bad, when I really don't feel that way. I feel like there's certain people that amass money that are just bad people. Like,
right.
They use bad business practices. They exploit people. They do, they take money from folks and shit. I don't necessarily feel like that's the same as a motherfucker sang so good and then worked hard as fuck going around the globe and people gave them money to be entertained. I don't necessarily see that the same as like Shein. And I'm not ashamed of that, and I won't back down from that.
Right. And also, like I said, a lot of people they have an arbitrary number. I've seen it happen to Cardi. I've seen it happen to Megan. I've seen it happen to like certain people where it
hasn't happened to Megan to me, in my opinion, but it will.
Okay. Yeah. Where it's going to be that turn. And the reason why I say I've quote unquote seen it happen, because now she's at the point that particularly after she got shot, everybody it's like this hard turn every time.
Well, that's just normal hating black women. They're not talking about how much money she made.
That's true too.
I'm saying people will say shit like, Rihanna, y'all favorite billionaire. I'm like, but Rihanna didn't make that money doing the harmful shit that some of these motherfuckers did. Like,
agreed.
To me, it is there is a difference, is what I'm saying. I'm not saying it's gotta be. You don't have to support them or love them or no shit. I'm not one of these aspirational, like, if they made it, I could be it. But I just don't have to fake hate them for clout. If I'm buying concert tickets, I don't hate you. I'm sorry. I'll never give my money to somebody I hate.
Me either.
So if I'm going to your concert, I don't hate you, and I do kind of understand where you're coming from. A lot of these black people, this ain't generational wealth. This is an inheritance. They earned this money in their lifetime. And yeah, I feel differently about it. I still might not jive with their mentality or some of their politics and shit, but that's all you niggas. And those listening to me now don't agree with everything. That's just life. That ain't nothing special about them. So then at that point it becomes about, well, you were more successful than me. That's really what a lot of that shit boils down to. It's not even an ideological difference. It's, I support Flo Milli rapping about getting all the money and treating people bad, but I don't support Megan because she already made the money. Like, get out of here. I don't give a fuck. But yeah, anyway. I love when a black woman can be in control as much as she can in this country and world. So many of my family, we are black raised in Georgia, love and grew up with country music. And you could bet we had certain black country singers and Dolly and Kenny Rogers on repeat. I was lucky to be taught the history of the banjo, square dance, and dance that has deep black roots, even though racist Henry Ford thought it was only a white art that he could use to fight the influence of Jewish people. Here's why many kids in this generation had to learn to dance style in elementary school. Of course, they left out that call and response was created by enslaved black folks. White folks use the banjo to make fun of us in minstrel shows, but Of course, they love the sound of it so much they started to incorporate it into their music. All modern country, jazz, bluegrass, rock, metal. American music has black roots, and people have been taught that we were never there. I love these two new singles. The sounds of the songs are the sounds of the country that I grew up with. It's very traditional. There was a time when if you use an electric guitar in country, you weren't country. Now I hear the country that sounds like rap. If Post Malone can do country with face tats and Tay-Tay can do pop, B can sing country and sing it brilliantly. All I need now is a Dolly and B collab and B and Tay-Tay collab, or maybe all three on the same song.
Oh, that'd be flames.
A white listener called in the Karen Hunter show and couldn't bring myself to explain why Beyonce can't do country music or be considered a country artist. I guess couldn't bring himself. Oh, yeah, couldn't bring himself to explain. He could not admit that country equals a white person in his brain. These angry white folks are showing once again that all they have is their whiteness and their perception of what makes them white and supposedly superior. The paranoia and insecurity are high. A pox on John Schneider's Aryan House for comparing B to a dog. As always, they demand that we stay in the lanes they have designated for us, even though we created most of the lanes in this country. B said, and we know, being black, maybe that's the reason why they always mad. They always mad. Yeah, being past them, I know that's the reason why they all big mad, and they always have been. Thanks for reading my rant and for discussing issues with Care. XO, Angela. Thank you, Angela.
Thank you.
Let's see. Any comments on YouTube? Probably not. We got one. Okay. Tell your man to see the lyrics of the third verse of the national anthem. Yeah, the dude that said, we're going to play the Asian national anthem. First of all, the regular national anthem is racist. I didn't say it on the show because I think everyone knows it if you listen to this show. But you keep reading, and that shit is like, bring them slaves back. And it's like, whoa. Y'all was getting loose on that third verse. What happened? Started out kind of good. It was just war and bombs and explosions, and it looked beautiful. And then it was, and the Negroes need to go back to slavery. It's like, oh, okay. Hey, that's it for the comments on the episode, but we still have the polls. Would you sign up for the Score dating app? Yes or no? 93% said no. The Score dating app is the one that keeps track of your credit score.
Child, you ain't signed me up for no financial service, and next thing you know, my phone blowing up with everybody wanting to refinance my credit.
Now I messed up. I made an extra option on Spotify, which is yes, no, or I'm off dating apps. 34% of y'all are not even on dating apps. So take y'all out the equation.
Right.
Now, 57% said no, 8% said yes. So very few people would sign up for a dating app based on credit score. I can understand why you would. I just think it seemed like a scam to me.
Yeah, this seems like a scam.
I understand why credit score is important in dating to people, especially long-term romantic dating, because it is a conversation you need to have in America, and it's going to lead to some hurdles, but yeah. The Q&A, I love you, Kev, on stage. This is a call up, not a call out, my sweet babies. He still hasn't responded, so I will continue to call him out. Soul Power says 5 laughing emojis. Tiffany Cherie says, oh Lord, we knew it would eventually come to this. Leave the proverbial red roof light on for him, Rod and Karen. Not Green says, what happened to being bi-gritual? I thought this was a safe space that supported bi-grituality and other gritual lifestyles. I'm backsliding. I'm back to hating y'all. Peter says, say it before I say it again. Anytime I wonder how the hell an episode got its name, I fall out laughing when I find out. Not a ruthless beard. And Aaron says, speaking of sugar grits, I was eating some the other day. I couldn't find sugar or Splenda. So what I put in instead, honey. All right, Aaron. Good for you, I guess. Thanks for letting us know. All right, let's go to I forgot I did doing it for the gram this week. I said it's gonna probably be a long show, so where's the music for doing it for the gram? Boom. For the gram. Doing it for the gram. Today, I asked, what is your best Valentine's Day memory?
Oh.
So we're gonna get y'all's answers. I think I got some on Facebook too. So
Okay, right, because it posts on both platforms.
Yeah.
I think I don't know if you or me, one of us programmed it to do that.
Okay. So all right, cool. We got 3 comments on Facebook and a few on Instagram. All right. Cynthia says had a cute little picnic at a vineyard, followed by a wine tasting where he bought a bottle of wine that we liked the most for us to share on a future date.
Oh, that's sweet. But don't tell certain parts of the internet that.
Why?
You remember they like to call people like that simple. You know, he ain't take you out the roof, Chris. You know, you ain't doing it up. You ain't spent $200 on the date.
I feel like a cute picnic at a vineyard. Yeah.
I love it, but that's
you right. Stay Flow says a friend of mine bought me a really nice chef knife this Valentine's Day. That's nice. Love me a good
chef knife.
Love me a knife. Miss Mars says, honestly, it was this year when one of my dearest best friends suggested that we do a specialty wine dinner. Got dressed up, did pre-dinner drinks at my favorite bar, and then a very elegant wine dinner. It was my first Galentine's dinner, and I had a ball. Shout out to Galentine's. They was hating on that shit too.
What's a Galentine?
Well, you and your girls go out with, like, you're not going on a date with a dude.
So that's why a lot of women was like, yeah, I'm going out.
Yeah, but Twitter was hating on it for some reason. Like, that ain't what it's about. Like, well, I'm an adult and I do what I want to do.
Right.
DJ Java says, I can't really say on a public platform, LOL, but we have now been happily married for 30 years and have 4 beautiful children. So we must have had the right chemistry on that first Valentine's date. CV Ursi says, when I was a kid, my mom and I would do gifts for the whole class. I was excited to give them out. I also loved the year the whole class gave and everyone got something. I think it was kindergarten. Oh, that's nice. Eso Rar says, this trash motherfucker I was dating told me Valentine's was for lovers. He surprised me with a balloon and one of my favorite albums that my cousin had lost when borrowing. I was 20 and so excited. He turned out to be a dog, so screw him forever. But that was the most memorable Valentine's Day. Leslie says, going to the burlesque show with a friend.
I've never been to one. I bet you that's fun.
Sean, yeah, I've heard they're a lot of fun. Sean says, first date with the woman who would become my wife. We met up as friends and it became a date. Oh, that's nice. And then the 3 responses on our Facebook are, the first one I spent without my ex-wife. Damn, Ronald. That's your best Valentine's Day memory? We must have hated her. Jay Full says, went to see The Weeknd at Drace in Vegas. I hope I said that right. Ended up in a relationship before the night was over. Damn.
Y'all move quick.
Guess the DJ had y'all falling in love. Lenina says, one year I got married on Valentine's Day. A couple years later, I gave him divorce papers on Valentine's Day to end. God damn.
Open and shut.
Why Valentine's Day?
I wanted to make it official.
What Valentine's Day do to you? All right, let's go to
y'all shooting Cupid with an arrow, and I don't mean no love arrow either.
That's all for doing it for the gram. Let's go to the voicemails. All right. We got a lot of voicemails today.
Okay.
Of course, the voicemail line 704-557-0186. Raphael leads the first voicemail.
Hi, Rod and Karen. It's your boy, Raphael. So I was listening to your episode, Take My L in the Dark, and to the point about young people not having sex nowadays. It reminded me of a program I attended in 2016, I believe. It was at Bloomberg here in New York. And there was the data that was presented. And I think I may have talked about this on 3 Guys On before in one of my emails. However, it showed lot of the richer countries in the world, not just Western countries, and you've covered some of this on the show before, including China, with the aging population. And I think many people skip over that when they bring up younger people not having sex. You talked about China trying to force young people to procreate and have babies because their population is aging. Japan has a similar problem. Germany has a similar problem. These are countries that have better healthcare in comparison to the United States. So it's not a matter of healthcare. Their population is aging fast. The only continent that doesn't seem to have similar problem is Africa. So, and the poverty is higher there, but it seems like the more there's wealth in a place, people stop having children. And that is something that people might want to consider in the future. I don't know, but it's something that some people are studying nowadays. But it's just something I just wanted to throw out there, that it's part of this situation with the kids not having sex. I don't know if that's part of it. I don't know if that's a reason, but it's something that was brought up in that program that I attended 2 years ago. Because United States, without immigration, United States would have definitely been in that high category.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense to me, especially because consider how people at the top amass the wealth, meaning there's less money at the bottom for people to have families, houses, pay off their loans, not be in debt. And so those are decisions or circumstances. Those are circumstances people have to deal with that typically make them delay having children because children also cost money.
Yes, they do. And they put you in debt.
Yep. Katrina.
Hi, Rod and Karen. It's Kadian, aka Katrina, aka Number One Feeling. I really don't want anything except to express that I love you guys, and I'm really grateful that you are in my ears on a regular basis, and to have your wisdom, your discussion, your reasoned approach, humor, wit, on a weekly basis to turn to. It's really a comfort. I think I've had a lot of anxiety starting the year just because it's an election year, but I've also just gone into it with a plan to keep myself sane and to back off of a lot of social media. I actually just stopped expressing a lot of my opinions on there and just retweet stuff or like things and consume things. But other than that, not because with Elon owning that place, I expect it to be even more of a shit show than the bot farms that flooded the place in 2015 and 2016, which is how long I've been listening to you, since the end of 2015, when I was seeking like a really good podcast to help me like calm down. So here we are, 2 more election cycles later, well, presidential ones, and I'm still grateful for you guys. That's all I wanted to say. I'll be having a great week and a great 2024 and a great Black History Month. Love y'all. Bye.
Black History.
That is sweet.
And thank you.
And thank you. And also, it's one of those things where I am glad that you are aware of this with the anxiety and you make a plan. Because some people know they DC people, they don't make no plans, and then they fall in the trap year after year after year after year. You're like, no, I got a plan. I'm stick to a plan, and you've done things to accommodate your particular situation and to make it a healthy place for you. And so I appreciate you and props to you for doing that, because there are a lot of people that are just like you, but they ain't making no plans. They just gonna float around and then get caught in the trap again. They be like, why am I anxious? Why am I nervous? Why? When the reality is you need to make a plan. You need to adjust yourself accordingly. But a lot of people don't. And then they continue to go through this year after year after year after year. At some period of time, you get tired of that roller coaster. And when you do, you get off. But until then, you're going to keep repeating the same thing.
All right, let's go to the next one. This is Olivia, I believe.
Hi, guys. This is Olivia in Japan. I've called once before. I just wanted to give you guys your flowers. I realized that I've been listening to you two for 10 years, and I sent a review but it was like 6 years ago. So I updated it today. And so, yeah, check your international reviews for a new one for me. But I just wanted to say thank you to you two for all of the wonderful content and information and jokes. I swear, every time you guys mention that men eat steak, women eat salad, they're supposed to be loving us. Every time y'all post that, I have to go to YouTube and watch the original video. I love it. It's hilarious.
Ain't it though?
And Karen, you had me dying this week with the whole Sugar Ray Leonard thing. I was like, you said Sugar Ray Leonard. I was like, what? Who? Huh? And then when you clarified, they said Billy Ray Cyrus. I was like, Billy Ray Cyrus.
I got the Ray right.
Anyways, thank you. I love you guys. I listened to y'all. In the Three Guys On, Not a Freeloader. I just pretty much any one you guys put on, I end up listening to. So thank you for not only your content, but the content of all of the people that are around you. I appreciate y'all so much. So yeah, I'm gonna stop. Oh, wait, I think I still have a minute. I also wanted to say,
No, she didn't have a minute.
The reason how
she called back. It's only 2 minutes.
Oh my gosh, voice lady and voice. I can't even talk now. I'm so embarrassed. Anyways, it's Olivia calling back. I just wanted to tell y'all how I found you guys, and I wonder if anyone found you the same way that I found you. So I didn't know anything about podcasts. The Read was the only podcast that I listened to after being a fan of Kid Fury's YouTube videos. When they started a podcast, I started listening to them. And then the first time they said that they were going to take a break, I about lost my mind. I thought, oh my gosh, who am I going to listen to? What am I going to do? I think they were only out for 2 weeks, but I immediately did a Google search on Black podcasts. And you guys were the first hit, like right away. It was an article that was talking about different Black podcasts, and you were like the first one that came up. And I listened to one episode, and I have been hooked ever since. And the Read just had their 11th anniversary, so it made me realize, wow, I've been listening to the Black Guys Who Tips for at least 10 years. Because, yeah, if they have an 11th anniversary, I at least have been listening to you guys for at least 10 and a half years. So, yeah. I'm going to stop talking before rude voicemail lady cuts me off again and embarrasses me in front of all these people. But I love you guys. And I will call back again. Maybe.
Thank you.
Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah.
That's sweet.
Nice,
oh my God.
Oops, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, and congratulations to them, the Read, because they've been around a very long time too. And the thing is, me and Roger for a long time, the Black guy in Hey Arnold used to be above us in the Google search. And so me and Roger had a running joke that we was going to outbeat him one day. We actually did. We became like the #1 search when you type in the Black guy. And so we're proud of that. And people have found us doing that, particularly through iTunes. A lot of people found us through iTunes by Googling Black or Black Podcasts, and they found us that way too.
Yeah, thank you for listening. We appreciate you.
We do.
And that's not your like first or second time calling. I saw it on the list. It lets me know like I can go back. Your first time calling was November 6, 2018. So you've been
out right.
You've been calling quite a few times.
Yes, thank you, baby.
Don't be a stranger. All right, next voicemail. This is from a 704 number.
Good afternoon, Rod and Karen. Thank you both so much for the show. Really enjoy it. Just leaving a quick message to say thank you, Rod. Last year you did the Coon Countdown every day for TikTok, every day of February. And this year I started doing a daily TikTok for Black History Month. And it's been so fun. I've just been really enjoying checking out the features and deciding on what to talk about every day. So, thank you very much. This is Cheyenne, and thank you. Bye.
Aw, well,
That's
that's dope.
sweet.
Yeah, you know what? I'm glad to have inspired something good. Because what I'm doing, I feel like it's like fun and good in that way, but it's not very serious. And so to know that somebody said I could do that too, because honestly, I'm not a TikTok person really, and I only really use it this month of every year. But I started the same way where I was just like, I guess. And then, enough people liked it that I said, okay, well, I got something here. So yeah, you just got to go out and do it. Allegra leaves a voicemail.
Oh my gosh. Hello, Rod and Karen. It's Allegra. I am just got through listening to the part of your feedback episode, the one that's entitled Immediately No. And you just got through playing Chadwick Boseman being every Black person ever. I love that skit so much. I was crying as I'm driving home listening to it. I love that the person, one of your fans, called and asked for that, because I was like, yes, please play it. My favorite part, it's a very slim margin, but my favorite part is when you say Rosa Parks. No. That kills me every time. All right, guys. Love you all. Bye.
Thank you, Allegra. And
Thank you.
yeah,
Don't you got a shirt that says that?
Yeah. And also just sometimes I'll laugh at my own jokes, and sometimes I forget, that I did stuff that it still makes me laugh to this day. And so yeah, that was a cool one, because that was in the vault, and I forgot we ever even really did that. So, or I really did that. So Jen left a couple voicemails.
Hi, Rod and Karen. It's Jen. Hope y'all are having a great week. Okay, so story time about the Super Bowl commercial that y'all were talking about the other day. I am the singer on that commercial, and it has been quite a week, as you can imagine.
Wow.
I got the gig through a company that I've done a lot of other ad work before, and I was able to see the ad and also look up the organization beforehand. But because they hadn't had an ad in the Super Bowl since what it looked like to be like 2020, the articles weren't like hot off the press. But the block was hot when the Super Bowl aired last week. And if you don't know what's going wrong with the company or an organization, the internet will tell you. I found that out. It's funny because I've done other, smaller ads, but usually people don't really care about music for commercials or film and TV because it's generally background. But I guess because Super Bowl commercials are like the Super Bowl of commercials,
Right.
The ads go live on YouTube pretty much right away, and Twitter was ablaze, and it was just like a bit of a whirlwind of a week. I did some research before working on it, and I didn't really find much outside the regular kind of like polarizing comments around Christianity and on this company. But I should have known, an ad in 2024 about Jesus would have some dirty money behind it, as y'all said. And I was already nervous about it being a little controversial because people get weird about religion and Jesus. Right. So I was already nervous, but it really got spicy. So it's been a crazy week. It stinks because I write music for film, TV, and ads, but I'm new here to LA. So it's just getting my feet wet. And I was excited to have a commercial in the Super Bowl, but I hadn't really told many people about it outside of my close family and friends because it's so controversial. But it's a learning lesson. To make sure I do my research before putting my voice on anything in the future. The good thing is that the comments aren't really directed towards me. The people that have messaged me have liked the views.
Oh, she got cut off. She called.
Hey, it's Jen again. I knew I was going to get cut off. But yeah, anyway, I just wanted to call and say that so y'all are talking about it this week. Yeah, like I said, when you know better, you do better. My mom said, and when I told her about this drama, and I told my mentor this week also, and she was like, "Girl, if you don't take these white people's money and go," so I've been trying to focus on that and keep it pushing. But I hope y'all have a great week, and I'm looking forward to another week of amazing episodes. Bye.
Bye. That's hilarious and sweet. And yeah, I remember who was I? Oh, I saw on Twitter people were upset because there's a Latasha, I think it's Latasha Harlins. Let me make sure it's the right name. Latasha Harlins biopic, who she was the girl who got killed by that Korean grocer before the like 1990
Before that
something
riot,
riots, LA riots.
Yes.
And they have a light-skinned girl playing Latasha, even though Latasha was not light-skinned.
I could see people feeling away.
Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely. But I saw somebody be like, when are people going to turn down these roles? And that is one way to look at it. If you feel that's valid, I'm not going to argue with you. But I would think that is not the way to fix that problem. Mostly because Hollywood operates on extreme level of scarcity. And it's not a perceived level of scarcity. It is scarcity. Like, motherfuckers basically be poor, then they get one role, and that one role gives them a little bit more ability to like eat and do stuff. And even the people you see in movie roles all the time, as we found out during the strike, many of them living less than check to check,
leave from gig to gig, right?
So the companies and the casting agencies, they're the ones who I think really need to be held accountable, because at the end of the day, that's who is. Then they find another person to take the role. They eventually are going to find someone to take the role in the way that they would like that person to look or be or whatever. So you're never going to beat it by being like, if every individual says, I would rather starve than play this. No, that doesn't make sense.
Right.
But what I'm saying is, I don't think many people would hold it against you that you sang in a commercial sponsored by Hobby Lobby. Because for the most part, you're like, I finally got a break. I finally got my work. I have a credit on my resume now. So I think that's why people aren't going to necessarily harass you. I don't think they would you don't even necessarily know everything about the opportunity when that happens.
Yes, you do this and then they take it, and then sometimes they pay you and then it's theirs, and then they sell it or do something else with it.
Yeah, so but I mean, that is wild. What a fucking coincidence you listen to our show and that.
Right?
That small world. Last voicemail from Nichelle.
Hi, Rod and Karen. This is Nichelle from Savannah, Georgia. Hope you guys doing well. I just wanted to tell you something I just heard from my sister. Such a North Carolina-based news. There is a bookstore in Raleigh, North Carolina called Liberation Station. It is the first Black-owned children's bookstore. And my sister has 2 kids. Just told me that comedian Cat Williams, donated money to this Liberation Station bookstore.
Wow.
So I don't know how many books he's read. I don't know if he's read 1 million books or one, but he is, if anything, becoming like the Dolly Parton of Black children's literacy, and I just think that's good news.
Me too.
And I just wanted to share that with you guys. Hope you guys are doing great. And also, I agree that Score, that credit app, is a scam. It's just data mining, getting back people's data. Probably figuring out who's got a good enough credit score to probably sell them something, and if they have bad credit scores, to make them get into one of those credit rehabilitation programs. It has nothing to do with scoring people. It's all about scoring money, and that's late stage capitalism.
Right.
Anyway, have a good day. Bye.
I agree,
baby, and I agree too. And also, it's one of those things. A shout out to them. And if you're in the Raleigh-Durham area, go and check them out and support. And like Roger said, it's one of them things where you hear story after story after story about how he's actually out here doing a lot of things.
Yep. And now we go to the emails. Heart. I'm gonna play Heart 2. This is an instrumental, and then we get to these emails. I love that beat. Heart 2. Maybe that's what JL was talking about. I don't know. I can see him getting ready to kill some Miami people to that.
Come on.
Caffeine. Crystal says, listening to the take, Oh, okay. Just my FYI use of caffeine in kids. Caffeine actually has been found as a treatment of ADHD, as it has the opposite effect on kids with ADHD, as it is calming and helps them focus. Now, I do not advocate for children consuming caffeine, but just wanted to point that out. Anything in excess could lead to issues. Haven't read this study to see exactly what they found or its confounding symptom. Like if you look up the adverse effects of Tylenol, it will say headaches. Meaning, if you experience anything during a something trial, they have to list that symptom as part of the medication adverse effects. Yeah, Appia told us about that. Whether or not that was due to the medication. Hopefully, this makes sense. Again, not advocating children should be consuming Prime Energy or Red Bull 5-hour energies, but just want to point out regarding this. I mean, I trust the findings of that study because I don't find those to be controversial. I also think if adults are exposed to a lot of caffeine, they have side effects. So, and I think these unregulated, just like drink all the energy drink shit, we know that there's certain shit you like. I know that's not good.
Right. I might not know the fucking science behind it, but no.
And I don't think it's the same as a doctor prescribing you medication for ADHD or something.
Correct.
But I guess maybe an unmedicated ADHD child could have caffeine in it and self-medicate that way, but I don't know. I don't think the study was necessarily disregarding that. But we'll see. Joe says, hi, Karen and Rod. I've been listening for a few months now, and I just realized last week Karen was saying folding chair and not voting chair. Actually, my 8-year-old corrected me. I found your live show on YouTube, and now I understand bullet ball.
Shout out to you. Bullet ball the street.
I just ordered merch and can't wait to rock my Blackout Tips gear. I hope you do some live shows this year because I will certainly support. Love you both. Thank you for bringing such a fun, informed, and downer culture for the culture couple.
Yeah,
Joe.
we don't really promote it as much. We do sell merchandise, y'all.
Yeah, we have a Teepublic Store. The link is in every single episode. And I know there's some new stuff, designs in there. There's the smug mug, which I need to buy one for myself actually. And it's just a mug for when you said something really smart or funny and you just want to be smug. You just take a nice smug sip. Like, look at me being great. Let's see. Doug says, not all propaganda is art. Hello, Rod and Karen. I think you might enjoy this ongoing series from Benjamin Walker. It focuses on Cold War propaganda and significantly on Richard Wright and James Baldwin. It's quite good in and of itself, but also may spark something for future seasons of Drapetomaniacs. It's called The Theory of Everything podcast. P.S. The style of storytelling across different series varies widely and can be a bit disorienting on occasion, but it's worth pushing through if you go rummaging into the back catalog. Okay. Yeah, and he put a link in here, but yeah, it's kind of just for us. I don't know. Let me see. Just want to make sure. Okay, not all it's Benjamin Walker's Theory of Everything, and the episode is Not All Propaganda is Art. So I guess that's a series. So thank you, Doug. Nick Jew. Oh,
hey,
she
baby.
Right. What's going on, girl? She wrote in. I see you trapping out there on the timeline. Okay,
right.
I'll see it. Hello. Long time no right, but you know I listen to my booze. I was walking to work hollering when I heard my shout out on the show because you already know when I see that lady, she gonna want to fight, and all I can do is knuckle up because I've been speaking on her voice for 12 years. Listen. Honestly, God, I love you to death. If we was walking down the street and she came out, I honestly would back up and let y'all square up because I really feel like y'all have to fight the one-on-one. I wouldn't let them jump you.
But it would need to be a fair fight.
But the way you've been talking, y'all got to fight the fair one.
Nah, I'm not gonna lie. Now, y'all know I'm too pretty and too cute. But if that Nick Jew is one of the few people I'd be like, you know what? I'll take a black eye for you, girl.
Yeah, she won't even do that for me. But I won't let nobody jump you. But it's the rules is the rules. You and her,
because I know you can handle it.
You and her got to square up. Y'all got to, because it's just honestly, I feel like if this God, this would make such a great sketch or something. But this would make so much, like if we were walking down the street and Alicia Keys walking the other way, and y'all didn't even say nothing to each other. Y'all just both put y'all bags down and just put y'all hands up like, we already know what it is. I'll just step to the side like, let them fight, y'all. This been coming for a long time. And look how I wasn't wrong. I love y'all so much, and thank you for speaking my success into the universe, because I do the same for you. And when I win my Tony, you know, a shout out to the Blackout Tips. Love Nick Jew. Oh, we love you too, girl. Man, that is, I'm gonna have that in my head for the rest of my life, is walking down the street with Nick Jew and be like, oh, it's Alicia Keys, girl. All right, I'm gonna be over here. You want me to hold your purse? Don't worry, I'm not gonna let him jump you. Don't
Girl,
worry.
I got your tennis shoes.
Right. I feel like Swiss Pizza even had to be like, listen, Alicia, you know it's between y'all. Linda says, hey, Rod and Karen, weighing in on the latest pop star news, as I love following that shit. First of all, Beyonce. Obviously, I'm excited about the new music, but thought y'all would be interested to know that my sister recently heard B on her local country radio station all the way out in rural Iowa. Very excited for my city slicker ass to be listening to the same music as my country bumpkin sister for once. Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. Now I have to go. That's why I said I feel like I kind of took the bait with the whole, like, this station won't play Beyonce. They racist. And because I do agree that was not what happened. I think those radios is not radio anymore. It's all just metadata and siphoning shit off of charts that are behind you. I was on the Karen Hunter show. Roy Wood Jr. was on there, and you know, he used to do radio for years and years.
Right.
And he's like, yeah, there's no request anymore. You don't call up and normally, like, that just goes into like a little thing of like a spreadsheet of this song was requested this many times, but it's not an actual, like, a DJ has the autonomy to be like, okay, you know what?
Like it used to be old
I'm gonna
school.
switch up from at 2:38. I'm gonna play this other song than the one we did. And so I can understand how that station in Oklahoma or whatever the fuck is like, if the charts tell us next week that it's the number 3 song, then it will be played on the radio the appropriate amount of times.
Right.
As opposed to, you know, we like there's an actual DJ in there and you're calling
like
them
somebody picking up the phone.
Yeah. So anyway, but whatever. They still ended up playing it because the Beehive is that strong.
That's all that matters. They played it.
Second of all, Britney Spears, I actually read her book recently, so I know a lot about her situation. Well, you know what she told you. I found it kind of amusing, but I shouldn't even say what she told you. You know what they wrote.
Yeah, because she might not even read the whole book.
Britney sounds surprised at her own book when she be talking. She be like, I ain't say that. Oh wait, I mean,
Right.
I did say that. I did say that. I found it kind of amusing, but also a little sad that she's been using old school slang because it honestly makes sense. Because of her conservatorship, she was a very emotionally stunted and socially isolated for a long time. But also, then again, she's also still an out of touch rich white person. So there's that. Yeah, that's facts. Anyway, yeah, and I mean, honestly, it don't bother me that she's out of touch somewhat, because I'm not, everything you said is facts. And also, like, she may have been introduced to us as a kid, but she's like she's a coming adult. She's a mom. She's not up on the latest hip hop and slang, and she don't even make music.
Time. Right.
So who's she supposed to be learning that? She's not kicking in with Young Thug so she can be like, listen, I'm pushing P. That shit would be weird too.
Right.
Anyway, it's clear to me that she does have a lot of mental health issues and she knows as much, but also I'm glad that now she has the ability to have more control over her care and her life so she can properly heal now. Did you hear that Wendy Williams might be in a similar situation lately? I have heard that, but I don't know the details. And I would say Wendy, while there will always be a sympathy for Wendy from people as just like a Black woman, as a person, as a pioneer in the game, and honestly, God, I mean, they always say it as a joke, but tell me she didn't pioneer a lot of this shit we're seeing with Shannon Sharp and all this.
She did. She like Jennifer, she was the foundation. Yeah. Charlamagne got his start through her.
Yeah. Like she paved the way for a lot of people.
Yes, she did.
So I'm not trying to discount her in that way, but she also said a lot of ugly stuff about a lot of people's business, a lot of untrue stuff, a lot of salacious stuff. And like reveled in it. And so you're going to see a lot less sympathy for whatever unfortunate situation she goes through. Because there's people out there that are just like, oh no, F her. And I remember that shit she said. And, you know, I'm glad bad shit is happening. We don't know the full story yet, but I heard that she's been unable to access her finances because the bank took control from her because of some health issues she's been having. It's wild. That can be done to disabled people, even those who are rich and famous. Yeah, and I think what's interesting is that we say is a thing that is being done to somebody because we are mostly thinking of the negative. But there's also like, if the way it's supposed to work, that would be a good thing. Like if I didn't have control of my mental faculties, but was still like capable of, say, withdrawing all my money from the bank or being fooled by some fucking scammer, and now my life savings is gone.
Want
it would be
parameters
good
on
that my, wife or my child was able to be like, that they don't have access to that. A conservatorship was supposed to protect Britney. It was supposed to, because she does have, I forget the exact diagnosis, but she does have some mental health issues that can lead to some behavior that, she may not be in control of at the moment.
Right.
There's things she's had in her life that, you look back and you're like, man, I wonder who was at the wheel for that.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's supposed to be able to limit the amount of harm you can do or the amount of abuse people can do to you. Cause it's like, oh, you got unlimited money. Here comes this dude. Here comes this person. Right. But then if your daddy is the fucking abuser, it's like, what the fuck do you do?
Right.
Because this motherfucker is supposed to be the one looking out for you. And he, at least according to Britney, that's not what's happening. So, I have sympathy for her. I always just caution against the internet being the place that is of justice and support, because I don't believe them. What the internet did was basically say Britney Spears has no mental health issues. It's all made up and she's fine.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's as dangerous as having a person that's too restrictive in control of your finances in life.
All right.
Because those motherfuckers can't be trusted. And she was listening to them comments and replying back and shit. And I was like, no, this is not healthy for anybody. These motherfuckers are not your friends.
No, they're not. And some of them might have issues too.
Lastly, SZA, did you see the Grammy performance of Kill Bill? I did see it, some of it. A stunt woman I've been following for a long time, the Semi Rider. Oh yeah, I know. I follow her on Instagram. Was hired as one of her dancers and did some crazy katana choreography in the audience and on stage, along with a bunch of other dancers and martial artists with swords. Definitely recommend watching. Yeah, I saw it, and I do follow her. She is bad, and she's amazing with that damn sword and stuff. Once again, sword ratchetness is not about people just having a sword.
Mm-mm.
Motherfuckers don't have no training.
Yes,
there's no safety rules.
trained.
There's no laws. Samurai Rider, when I see her, she be motherfucking working that sword with control and everything.
She ain't out to just winging it.
This ain't her going to Comic-Con, coming back and stabbing her friend over Nintendo.
Right.
Like that's some different shit. I'm cool with that. I love that song. It's so pretty and soothing, but also extremely violent. And honestly, that's just a fantastic combination. So seeing her do such a good performance with swords flying all around was a blast. Keep on keeping on. Thank you, Linda.
Mm-hmm.
Peter says, hi, Rod, Karen. I've been a listener since Critter Getter. So like 2015, 2016. Oh, Critter Getter. Anyways, this is my first time writing in because in all these years of listening, episode 2856, Post Serious Society, has represented my observations of society so succinctly. This episode is so good as always, but learning that Rod got high before the show made so much sense because I too was high as I listened, and the way you connected J-Lo, Ayo, Monique and Sydney and Club Shay Shay and the political zeitgeist leading to our ultimate demise because we lost the plot being so unserious was done as smoothly as the MCU Infinity Saga. There should be a cannabis playlist of this show that are the best listened to while high. Thanks, Peter.
And thank you, sweetie.
I'm glad that made sense to you because I'll be like, I hope that made sense when we get off because I'll be hot. Mandy said, dear Rod and Karen, all I have to say is y'all was spitting nothing but bars on the Monique situation, but I have a couple things on my mind.
Mm-hmm.
She has been talking about Oprah and Tyler blackballing her from projects for over a decade, wanting a public apology. She could file a lawsuit or defamation of character. I mean, you ain't wrong. Like, if it's really a business thing, if it's really you got all the evidence, at this point, it seemed like, why are you even involving the public? just go ahead and sue them and get what you need.
Right.
But once again, I think weaponizing the public as like the flying monkeys to do their bidding and put the pressure on these people because they may not really have a case, an actual case to because like I said, I can see a scenario where Tyler and Oprah are like, you are hard to work with. You and your husband are hard to work with, and no, we don't owe you shit. We don't need to tell. We don't, when someone calls and asks about you or having you in our project, we don't have to be like, well, in all fairness, you can see both sides. I can be like, I don't like them or working with them, and I will not work with them. And if you call me and ask for a reference, like, how was it working with her? I will tell them, I mean, it was straight until it wasn't, and I wouldn't do it if I was you. And that's okay if they do that. It really is. It's like I said, I can see if that's what happened. Now, if it's some other shit where they like literally calling people they ain't even have no business talking to, being like, nah, man, don't work with her, then that's different.
Yes, it is.
But I think but we're only hearing her side, and I think there's a difference between blackballing and being like, I don't want to work with this person.
There's a lot of people that don't work with people. There's a lot of people that have people in their contracts that were like, I don't work with them.
I'm being 100%. If I had a bad experience with somebody and someone, a friend or a colleague, coworker, hey man, we think about doing blank. What you think? I mean, if I had a bad experience, I'm not gonna lie for you. Like, it is what it is. Then don't do that fuck shit. You know what I mean? So I can see them feeling that way. Once again, I'm not saying they're right or wrong. I'm just trying to keep everyone's humanity in mind and be like, I can see how you get to that place and you don't feel like you did anything wrong. You only feel bad that she feels so bad about how shit is going, but you don't necessarily feel like I was out here wilding. I can see how you got there. Anyway, Mo keeps saying she's doing X, Y, and Z for the black woman, but she defended Roseanne Barr for comparing the black woman to an ape. I remember. See, y'all be bringing me back to remembering this shit, and that's why I'll be like, God, she got me. Sat on that couch, I said, oh, yes, sister. And then I remember this shit, and I was like, wait, that was not, it was literally like, Roseanne has been good to me, so you niggas need to leave her alone. And I'm like, that is the exact opposite of loving us, doing this for all of us. You're doing it for her because she looked out for you, which is fine, but leave us out of all the other shit then.
Right.
It's cool. I don't have a problem with you doing that. Just leave me. I don't want to be, I'm a bad black for watching Netflix if you're going to be like, but support Sister Roseanne Barr. Also, is it me, or does it seem like she has wanted a public apology from Oprah and Tyler because she may see them as a mother and brother figure since her actual mother and brother never apologized for the wrong they done to her? I don't know that part, and I'm not going to project on that part.
Yeah, I don't know.
But you know what, Mandy, normally we be done. I'd be like, I don't know, Mandy be having some wild opinions, but I guess this time I'm with you, Mandy. So, everybody, the Arby's is on Mandy today. All right. John says, howdy, Rod and Karen. Just wanted to chime in on Allegra's voicemail from last week's feedback episode. She's absolutely right about the whole taking our ball and going home bullshit when it comes to voting. No group is a monolith. But as someone who didn't even recognize Usher's big hits, LOL, I will speak for white people here and say that most of us grow up surrounded by conservatives and libertarians, and we are constantly being fed bullshit notion that the government only helps black people. It's obviously the exact opposite of the historical truth, considering that every benefit and policy in America was purposely granted to us and only us while excluding black people.
Yes.
Native, indigenous people, etc. But the myth of government handouts to those people is one of the bedrocks of whiteness, which leads to voter indifference for many, many white people. If I had a nickel for every time one of my relatives warned me, don't vote, it only encourages them. It's a twisted view that allows white people to grow up believing we have no civic duty at all. At the end of the day, the system works for us, even though it never says the latter part out loud. But obviously, even non-white people can adopt this bullshit too, as we see from people like Killer Mike, Ice Cube, Mark Lamont Hill, etc. It's especially common once you get into progressive activist spaces. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I agree. And it's also, one of those things where the system is designed to make you feel comfortable and not challenge it. It's like, why would you challenge something that you're not oppressed by? You know, why would you challenge something that has told you and your people that y'all the great and y'all the best and everything always work for you? You're always landing your feet. Anything that happens to you is unjust. Anything that happens to anybody else, they deserve. They're lazy, like you know, and you can point your fingers at them. And also, like you said, they also teach you that too, so that you can turn a blind eye to the majority of people that are on any type or any form of assistance in the United States of America is white people. So when they start cutting and slashing and shit like this, majority of you will be impacted more than any other group. But instead of looking at the people who slashing and cutting your shit, because a lot of them have bought so deeply into it, they'll turn around and they'll blame the black and the brown and the others, versus looking at the people that are actually causing the policy to get their service cut off too.
Agreed. He says, Rod, I'm with you. I would love to see Taylor Swift and Beyonce collaborate just to watch their hater fans explode. Please make it happen. Maybe they can somehow involve Hillary to make the hater universe collapse into a singularity. Listen, they make some type of woman's anthem.
Yeah, nuclear explosion.
Man, yeah, it'll be crazy.
I'll be here for it.
P.S. Have you been watching The Curse, Nathan Fielder's new series? It's got all the discomfort and bizarre humor that he always brings, as well as being a great spoof of performative white liberals. Emma Stone is amazing at embodying white hipster Karen. And also there's a true crime documentary called Murder in Boston about the Charles Stewart case, a story from the mid-'80s that absolutely dominated the news when I grew up there. The series itself is just okay. It's pretty obvious he did it from jump. But the first episode does a really great job of showing the white lash, the school busing, and why Boston has such a horrible racist legacy and how that informed the Stewart case and the news coverage of it. Yeah, both on my list. I think they're on Max, but I think both are on my list. I didn't realize Nathan Fielder did The Curse, so you know I'm in. Cheers and stay safe, John. Thank you. Last one is from C. Cass Always, who says, boot scooting time. Howdy for Karen and Rod. Y'all talked about so many interesting things this week. It was almost hard to choose. Country folks, it's our time. I'm so excited for folks diving into country. There's something for everyone, and the black artists that are in the genre have been putting in work. And they're talking about everything: money, curly hair, love, heartbreak, outside activities, police shooting, capitalism, fresh shoes. Do the kids still say fresh? Partying, protesting, etc. And they aren't all afraid of changing the production and instrumentation. It's going to sound authentically us. It's a good time. Chapel Hart has a fun spin on Jolene with the You Can Have Him Jolene. Rissy Palmer has some fun songs, but if you want a We're Fighting the Power country album, it's her album Revival. Priscilla Renee, aka Money Long, has pen in R&B and contemporary country. She's just put out a song on TikTok called Hoedown, Heaux, Hoedown. But it isn't on streaming yet. Her latest album, Colored, has bops. Brittany Spencer hit me in my big girl feels with Sober and Skinny. And damn right you're wrong. I'm hoping to see her when she opens for another artist in DC next month. Raina Roberts does some jams. There are just so many to name, but I want to make this super long. Spotify has a dope Black Girls in Country playlist if you're interested. I can't wait to see where Beyonce takes us. Excited all around. Anyway, hope you all are having a great weekend, Cass. Always. Thank you, Cass.
Thank you.
And I'm gonna save this email so I can add all those people to my playlist because I'm trying to catch up. All right, that's it. Thanks for listening, everybody. We appreciate y'all. We'll be back tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. We have Keith and Hemda from Keith and the Girl as the guest. Looking forward to that. Going to talk to him about his book. Going to talk to her about leaving Keith and the Girl forever. All
right.
So until tomorrow, I love you.
I love you too.
Mwah. Bye, everybody. Have a good rest of your day.